Thank you, Chris. Toss was won by St. John Bosco. They deferred, and so Bishop Gormon will start with the football here tonight. Bosco's kicker, Kalani Kukahiko, senior, who has been extremely accurate in the kicking game, and Bishop Gormon has a couple guys back to receive. Particular Jalen Naylor, the front of your screen, who just got his first offer earlier this week to Colorado, and quite honestly, the coaching staff is surprised it took so long. He's a very skilled player.
Well, he is. He leads his team in receptions, and he's going to have a big night to take some pressure off of the running game. There's a lot of dynamic players on the field tonight, Sam. I mean, this is one of those nights that no matter who touches the ball, they can take it the distance.
The national championship game is underway, and it starts with a pooch kick that is fair caught. Smart play there, quite honestly, by one of the upmen for Bishop Gormon. Bubba Bolden makes the catch and ensures Bishop Gormon will start with the ball.
Doesn't that sort of tell the story, though? They automatically have respect for the deep return guys. Did not want them to get the ball in their hands.
There's the numbers on Tate Martell so far this season. And he really started to throw the ball well last week against Coco from Florida. All 4 of his touchdowns came last week.
Yeah, the big number, though, is the 31 rushes for 240-plus yards. That's where he really can hurt you. It's going to be interesting to watch how St. John Bosco goes about trying to defend Martell in the running game.
He starts with 3 receivers to his right, and Diageo Ali Walsh behind him. And on the first play from scrimmage, we've got a false start.
Well, you can imagine a game of this magnitude.
Dead ball, false start, offense, number 9, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, we got to get Jordan on that false start, but you can imagine a game of this magnitude that, no surprise that guys are trying to get off the ball quickly. So important for both teams to get off to a good start tonight.
Jerry Troutman, our official on the field. So 1st and 15 for Bishop Gormon. 3rd game of the year, 3rd state that they're playing an opponent from. There you go with the read option. Martell keeps it, and he is smothered at the line. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. Bishop Gormon offense and St. John Bosco defense. Gale's offensive line up front, pretty skilled. Some returning guys, Namir Johnson and Adrian Dupuis, particularly strong.
And we talked about Ali Walsh, and he's going to have to be a good 1-2 punch for Martell back there, but very dynamic receivers as well. Naylor leading the group there.
And Naylor, we mentioned before, just picked up his first offer. Colorado, the Buffs, first to give him an invite. And he's just a junior. He'll have a lot more. Last week, a couple of touchdown catches. 2nd down and 12 coming up. Gormon had the false start on the first play from scrimmage. And they'll go 5 wide. Martell lets it go early, and that one is broken up. Brevin Jordan, the intended receiver. Here's the defense for St. John Bosco. On the defensive line, Haskell, Garrett, the star.
Yeah, this defensive line is going to have some huge responsibility in front of them. Bosco is very big offensively.
Third down and 12 coming up after the incomplete pass. Tate Martell, for all his skill, only completing 53% of his passes so far, so not quite at peak form in the passing game. 3rd and long. Buying some time. Now he's caught in the pocket. He goes down. St. John Bosco's defense does not quit. They come up with the sack. Kyle Murray and Cross Poyer converging on Martell.
Well, they did a great job in terms of staying in their pass rush lanes when they're trying to get to Martell. You see, he was trying to look to escape, and there's no way to get out. Not because the guys were overly rushing him, but because they stayed disciplined in their lanes and waited for everything to collapse.
Nahi Salunga was the first Bosco Brave to get a hand on him, and so they forced the punt team to come out. Fair catch signal is made, and the catch is pulled in around the 43-yard line. That's where St. John Bosco will begin the day with the football. Fair catch made by Berkeley Holman, their big play receiver. Will be out there with Real Mitchell, the junior, at the controls of the offense.
Well, you look at the numbers on Real. He's been efficient so far this year. He also has a great yards per rush average, averaging over 10 yards, over 11 yards per rush so far this season, also 3 touchdowns. So both quarterbacks, very good runners.
1st and 10 from the 43. And the handoff on 1st down to Beasley. He will pick up 4 yards to the 47. Here's the lineups for the Braves.
You can see the big key up front, Wyatt Davis. He has offers from everybody across the country. He's committed to Ohio State. Holmes and Tavita Moe also returning starters. You can see that in the backfield, you got Beasley and also
Terrell Bynum is the big-time wide receiver. They've got a few. Here's Beasley getting around to the corner, and he'll step out of bounds at the 41-yard line. 1st down pickup, move the chains for St. John Bosco, a gain of 14.
Well, this is what you're going to like about Terrence Beasley, is that not only does he run the ball effectively, but watch the vision. That hole was designed to go up the middle, makes a guy miss in the hole, goes right around him, and then cuts back against the grain to pick up a huge gain for Bosco in a 1st down.
And the Braves going no huddle here. Mitchell, hand off to Beasley, and he tumbles over the line. Bishop Gorman's defense, very skilled as well.
Haskell, Garrett is the key up front. They're going to have a real challenge in front of them against a very big Bosco front.
I'll help you. Paula E.A. Natiote.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I got it down. I was going to try it at least. And you can see the defensive secondary of a lot of pressure for them. They'll be in a lot of man-to-man coverage tonight.
Bubba Bolden, their featured DB. Pressure coming, but Mitchell gets rid of it, and he hits Terrell Bynum, the Washington commit, and the star receiver for the Bosco Braves. Modest pickup, but not quite enough for a 1st down. They'll have 3rd and 1.
Just a quick hitch, nothing special about it. They just get the ball out of Real's hands and into this talented receiving corps' hands. Picks up a nice gain on 1st down to Bynum.
Alex Perry on the tackle. 3rd down and 1. They go with the option. Mitchell tuck and run. He'll have the corner and the 1st down. And he is thrown out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Flags come a-flying. Bubba Bolden with the extra effort after Mitchell was already out of play.
Yeah, and just not a smart move by Bolden. And he's a 3-year varsity player, very experienced and a very talented one at that, but just not a good decision.
Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, number 11, defense. Half the distance, 1st down.
Check that, he's a 4-year starter in the secondary, and that's the one thing that's hard in these big games. It's hard to control your emotions. You can see Real just turn it on and get to the outside, and right there's a contact made. He wouldn't have a problem there, but it was the extra twist right there. If he just lets him go, he'd been fine, but when he slammed into the ground, that's what drew the penalty flag.
1st and goal at the 10. Mitchell's putting together a good drive here so far for St. John Bosco. Handoff on 1st down, and Beasley will pick up a couple. Haskell, Garrett in on the tackle. Garrett committed to Ohio State.
And he's a load, 6'3", 262 pounds, and I think that's on the light side. He looks about 280, 285 down there. We were on the field before the game, Sam. He is a huge individual.
And very quick as well. Demetrius Flowers has checked in as the tailback now, and they will hand it to him. He is hit at the line, tries to twist off, staying on his feet, still going at the 2. He is in for the touchdown.
Wow. What a second effort by Flowers. Flowers is their changeup back, a very big back at 6 feet, 210 pounds, but you can see he just keeps his legs going, just running right through tacklers, just wouldn't be denied. His 1st carry of the game ends up being a touchdown. Look at how many guys had a shot at him. There's 5 guys that have a legit shot to bring him down and just couldn't get him to the ground.
Whistle blows the PAT dead.
Move out of personal defense. What number?
Got a sneak preview there of the call, Jerry Troutman.
5. Dead ball, encroachment. Defense number 5, half the distance, replay the try.
And it looks like Coach Negro wants to negate that one. Blake Forte was the man who jumped. Kalani Kukahiko has only missed 1 PAT all season. And he puts that one through. 7-0 thanks to Demetrius Flowers. That change of pace back comes up, and immediately on his 1st carry takes it in for 6.
Well, and watch how many guys have a chance to bring him down. They're there's 2 guys that contact him there. There's 3, 4, 5, and 6 are getting ready to get a shot right there, and they still couldn't get him to the ground. You know, Flowers was one of those guys, he played both sides of the ball early in his career at St. John Bosco, played both linebacker and running back. And over the course of time, he sort of found a home at this running back position, and he sort of backs up Terrence Beasley, which makes him a really good compliment, because Beasley obviously a guy with great speed, and then Demetrius Flowers, of course, as you see, with great power, so it gives you the classic thunder and lightning combination.
Flowers' first touchdown run of the season. St. John Bosco strikes first. So Coach Jason Negro has to be excited about this one. He said specifically, this is not a revenge game. These 2 teams met a couple years ago, but it's one his players very much wanted. And he said the key was coming out fast. They did. Yeah,
well, there's a handful of players on both teams that were in that game a couple years ago. And, you know, they obviously remember, you know, playing against a very tough opponent. But I think this is a little bit of revenge factor on the Bosco side. If, you know, they didn't walk away from that one easy. Remember, that was a very good Bosco team that got beat by Bishop Gorman.
Kick goes out of bounds, so they'll give good field position over to Bishop Gorman here for their second drive.
On the 35.
High school football fans, all 5 Friday night games are at your fingertips with the help of Fox Sports Go. To access, download the Fox Sports Go app on your preferred device. Under the drop-down menu, choose Prep Zone to view their 4 streaming games, where you can, of course, select Prime Ticket to view the high school football game of the week. And if you have your computer, your laptop handy with your phone, you can go picture in picture in picture with us here on Prime Ticket. Some great games going on tonight. De La Salle has come down here to the southern section. Always fun when they're in town, but tonight the #1 team in the nation is here, and there's their big running back, Biagio Ali Walsh, blowing the shoulder.
Did you see Ali Walsh just run right over one of the Bosco defenders? I mean, he goes 5'10", 180 pounds, and the coaches told us that he plays bigger than it looks. And I, you know, even walking down on the field, I said, oh, you know, I see him on tape and watch him run. He's a physical runner, but when you see him in person, he's still 180 pounds, but very, very strong.
Second down and 5. And Martell will hand it off, and a big hole this time on the right side for Ali Walsh. Across midfield, down to the 48-yard line. That's a gain of 12.
Well, there's so much respect for Tate Martell and what he can do. Ali Walsh, who I think is underrated, to be quite honest with you, for as much as he means to this team. You know, you can see he has the explosive moves to get to the secondary and break off big plays himself.
Let's go down to Chris Ricks, a quick injury update.
Yeah, guys, the Bishop Gorman trainers right now working on starting center Zach Grant. Looks like he's down with a neck injury from the first series. That means Donovan Moore, the junior, is in. Let's see if he can get them in the right checks up front on the offensive line for the Gales.
Well, they don't need to open up too many holes. Tate Martell does it himself. His shake and bake move gets by the second level, and another first down pickup.
Well, you see Martell with that 1-2 punch between he and Ali Walsh. Difficult combination to stop. Now remember, if you're St. John Bosco, don't take your eyes off the passing game. Right now, Bosco is a one-on-one coverage on the outside, and you remember, Martell's a very good passer.
They'll go run game again. Biagio, Ali Walsh, pickup of 2. One thing that's very interesting for this era of spread offenses, these are 2 of the best teams in the country, and both coaches say, we just want to run the ball. If we can do that, we're very happy.
Well, the one thing is, when you start to do the numbers and the math, it really becomes a problem for the defense. You know, how many guys are you going to commit to the box to stop the run? And so it's really a number count for these coaches that they're sitting up here calling plays. If St. John Bosco is not going to commit extra guys to the run, right now you can see 6 guys in the box, 4 linemen, 2 linebackers. As long as they stay with that lineup, it's going to bode to good running opportunities for Bishop Gorman.
Martell throws into a tight window, and it comes off the hands of Jalen Naylor. Incomplete, 3rd down and 8 coming up.
All right, now, if you're Bishop Gorman, you have to factor in this is probably 4 down territory here. So you do not have to necessarily go beyond the 1st down marker to get the 1st down. You'd be happy to get 6 or 7 yards here in an ideal case to bring up 4th and short, because they will go for it on 4th down if they have to.
Martell goes under center. Handoff, Ollie Walsh, and he's hit behind the line of scrimmage. They'll lose 2, and it's going to be 4th down and 10. And a tough decision coming up, too far away for a field goal. But do you want to try and pin him?
Well, St. John Bosco not fooled by what was going to come. They tried to go with the draw, trying to catch Bosco in the pass defense. Spina was able to make that tackle.
Kyle Murray coming around the edge, helping funnel him into Spina as well. So they will go for it on 4th down. 5 wide receivers, 3 to your top of your screen, 2 below. Martell stepping up, flag is out, and he'll go over the top, has a man that is caught for a big gain. Out of bounds at the 1 is Jalen Naylor, but the flag back in the pocket.
Yeah, it's going to be a holding penalty against one of the offensive linemen. I think they're going to get
Holding. Offense number 77. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. We'll replay 4th down.
Yeah, they got the left tackle, Amir Johnson, out on the edge. He was trying to pass block against Collier. I think he's coming from the outside. See Collier, and right there, that hand right there, that's where the referee saw the takedown. And so that play, although Martell got outside the pocket and threw a pass, it would have been taking Bishop Gorman down to the 1-yard line. It would be negated because of the hold.
And now it's 4th down and forever. They've gone back so far, it's a better idea to punt now for Coach Sanchez.
Yeah, and Coach Kenny Sanchez told us before the game it's so important for his team to get off to a good start. This is not the start that they wanted.
And it looks like a fake right now. Martell pressured, still under fire, and he is taken down for a huge loss. They had a man behind the play, but Travis Tuatasi broke it up. And again, great position for St. John Bosco when we come back from this quick break. St. John Bosco, the big defensive stop, and then on the play fake, Travis Tuatasi corralling Tate Martell. Coach Kenny Sanchez for Bishop Gorman deciding to go for it with the fake on 4th down. Didn't work out, and good field position coming up here for St. John Bosco. This is effectively a national championship game tonight, JJ.
Yeah, no question. You see Bishop Gorman, of course, ranked #1, is an IMG Academy. You know, who a lot of people wonder, you know, are they really within what the high school constraints of rules are, because they have a lot of guys that go there, but they're ranked #2, deservedly so. St. John Bosco, of course, at #3. That's who, of course, we have tonight. Modern Day, of course, another representative of the CIF Southern section also there. Surprising thing you brought to me, where's Centennial in that?
That's a good question. We'll talk to Greg Biggins shortly. #1 versus #3, not much separating these two teams in the rankings, about 300 miles on the map. And these two, a little bit in common, both of them private schools. St. John Bosco, all male, and the list of alumni, very, very impressive. Todd Husak, former Stanford quarterback. Nomar Garcia-Parra, the big leaguer, former Dodger for St. John Bosco. And, of course, Josh Rosen. And on the other side, the Fertitta brothers, who, if you need a loan, they're the ones to hit up. They just sold the UFC for a few $1 billion. Bishop Gorman also has DeMarco Murray, current running back for the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, how do you sell the UFC? I mean, man.
I mean, short of my kid, I'll sell you just about anything for $4 billion. You want to kid me? We can make a deal. St. John Bosco. Back to work with good field position here. They start this drive from their from the Bishop Gorman 43-yard line.
Yeah, that was a huge play. That fake punt attempt where Tate Martell was just bottled up. I'm not quite sure what the design of the play was going to be, but you know, maybe we'll have a chance to go back to that. There were some opportunities there, I think, that were missed.
Mitchell in this pistol formation and option. Great fake. He's got open space. The fastest sophomore in California from last year has the corner. He's got a touchdown.
Well, there's just no way to defend the speed.
38 yards.
So watch, Real's going to go out on the option, and he fakes the pitch and then takes it himself. Big mistake by the defensive end is because you have to stop Real, because once he gets to the edge, he can outrun everybody. So he got to the corner, and it was bye-bye. Once again, if he's even with any defender, he is going to outrun them. No question about it.
PAT is perfect, and this is as close to a perfect start as St. John Bosco could have dreamed of.
We're watching on the option. Beasley's out wide. The defensive end chose to try to stop Beasley. Real faked the pitch, and once he got to the corner, there's nobody that can match his speed.
JJ, I know you got 4.4 speed, so buddy, but you ever run a 10.7600?
I'll just lie to you and tell you, yeah. Just been slowed down over the years.
Coach Sanchez instructing some of his players on their assignments there, and number one's got to be stop Mitchell with the football.
Well, it has to be, especially, you know, he's not an option quarterback per se, but as you see, they do have that option as a wrinkle. And what it does, it just puts defenders in a bind on what are you going to do. Same thing with the zone read. You know, the zone read offense is sort of designed around letting a defender go. He sort of blocks himself by the decision he makes. Well, when you're trying to defend St. John Bosco, if you don't go and attack the quarterback, he's so dynamic that once he gets to the edge, nobody can catch him.
Austin Arnold back to receive for Bishop Gormon, the number one team in the nation, trailing 14-0. And again, they'll pooch it. Arnold taking it, even though it would have gone out of bounds. He wants to run. Trying to cut it upfield, and he goes nowhere. Tackled at the 20. Big loss there in terms of potential yardage for Bishop Gormon. A great start offensively, but defensively, they've played an A game as well.
Well, you see how they've contained Tate Martell so far. You can see how they're not going after him as an individual. They're trying to get him as a team. They've been able to sort of collapse a little bit on Ollie Walsh. They've sort of contained him to an extent. This was a big play, the fake punt where Martell was trying to scramble. He had a couple open options down the field. He did not see them. Every mistake that Bishop Gormon has made, St. John Bosco has capitalized on.
And Bosco perfect defensively all year long. They've shut out their first two opponents this season. Diageo Ollie Walsh on first down. Picks up about 4 yards. The first two opponents, pretty good ones too. St. Xavier from Ohio, who's traditionally a very strong school there, and La Mirada, who, even though they're D3 in the southern section, they're one of the favorites in D3.
They are no question the favorite in D3, and I had a chance to go visit La Mirada on my year of the defensive back.
We'll find out how you did later. Got a good one coming up at halftime tonight. Doubling up right now on the total offensive yards and then some. St. John Bosco, very good start for them offensively. 2nd down and 7 to go. Martell with 3 receivers. Bottom of your screen to start the play, and he will run for the outside, gets a good block, and he is taken out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Stephen Blaylock with the tackle. First down, though, for Bishop Gormon.
Yeah, you can see how Tate Martell can also run very well as a quarterback from that spot. If you don't stay disciplined in your rush lanes, you try to come around the outside, he will step up in the pocket, and then he has, he has multiple choices. Either to throw the ball, which he will do, or else take off and run when he has an opening. Good decision by Martell. Right now, he just needs to engineer this offense. He just needs to get some rhythm, get some first downs to get his team back in this game.
1st and 10 from the 37. 4 receivers set, trips to the top. And they will go to the handoff. Diageo Ollie Walsh hit hard at the 40-yard line.
And he's hurt.
Slow to get up.
He really got hit.
Blaylock again in there. And Tyrell Thomas, a commit to Montana State.
I think it's Tuatasi that ends up getting to him right here on the sideline. You can see he lowers his head. And Tuatasi got him from the back and might have rolled on his ankle. Watch how he tackles him here, and watch his leg get sort of folded under. He looked like he came limping off. Yeah, you see how he grabs his lower leg, got rolled on his ankle. That's the injury, and that, of course, can be very, very painful.
Deep backfield for Bishop Gormon as well. And they go right back to the ground game. This is Ahmad Cianelli, sophomore, who is now over 100 yards on the season. He picks up the first down.
The one thing you want to watch with Martell runs the zone read. He's probably one of the best quarterbacks in high school football that runs this zone read, is he will hold the ball to the very last minute. I mean, that ball was in Ciarelli's stomach for a long time. You see them tending to Ollie Walsh on the trainer's table. We hope that that's not a serious injury. That would really be a huge loss to their team. But he holds the ball in there so long that the defender, really has to guess, and oftentimes guesses wrong.
Cianelli again on first down. suplex down by Cross. Poyer has been very active so far. Gain of 6.
There's been several injuries for Bishop Gormon to start this year. Take a look at this last run by Ciarelli. See, it looks like oh, that's a face mask. How do you miss that? And he just kept yanking. I mean, that's a miss by the officials.
Cianelli remains as the running back as they continue to tend to Biagio Ali Walsh. Whistles before the snap, and this will be a false start.
Dead ball. False start. Number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
You know, and Kenny Sanchez talked to us a little bit about this in terms of how his offense has been playing and getting off to a good start. He said the one thing that they've been able to do, they've been able to drive the ball, but oftentimes they get down in the red zone or get a good drive started and it sort of shot themselves in the foot. That was one thing he said that tonight he wanted to make sure that they avoid. And you see right there is a perfect example. They had a great first down play that brings up 2nd and about 4, but then a holding penalty, the offsides penalty moves them back 5. Now it's a 2nd and long situation. You sort of negate that first down run, which was a nice run by Ciarelli.
I saw a moment ago they continue to work on Biagio Ali Walsh. Back to game, 2nd and 9. They're going over the top, looking for Thompson Robinson. Touchdown!
Wow.
And this is quarterback to quarterback. Dorian Thompson Robinson, the backup QB, makes the beautiful catch, and Bishop Gormon is on the board.
I'll tell you what, Sam, I saw this play developing, and I saw Thompson Robinson going down on the post, and he had a step. And then when Tate let go of the ball, I said, you know what, he overthrew him. How did he miss the guy that was open? But Thompson Robinson just turned on the extra jets to catch that one right in stride. What a perfectly thrown ball by Tate Martell, and a huge play for Bishop Gormon to get them back into it.
Extra point by Derek Ing, up and good. Dorian Thompson Robinson, fascinating story. He's one of the top-rate quarterbacks in the country. He doesn't throw in games. He's been behind Martell his whole career.
Yeah, well, he has to wait his turn in line, as a lot of players do here at Bishop Gormon. But look at that ball. It was perfectly thrown. And what concentration. That is not easy for you fans at home, looking back over your head as a receiver. Very difficult catch. Dorian Thompson Robinson made it look easy.
The #1 junior in the state of Nevada on a 49-yard touchdown reception. That's his first touchdown catch this season. Coach Sanchez just raved about him. How do you get recruited as a quarterback when you haven't played in a high school game? We had 100 coaches come to our practice, and they all loved him.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they see him throw in practice. I mean, he gets his reps as a quarterback in practice, as a backup to Martell. And you're right, he's been so impressive in practice, not only with his size, I mean, he goes 6'3", he's 195 pounds, but also you can see he has the definite speed as well, and so it's a great combination.
And it really says something about him. A lot of quarterbacks in a lot of places will say, I can start somewhere else, I'm going to transfer. He's waiting his turn and making plays. Bishop Gormon kick goes into the end zone. That's a touchback. St. John Bosco will back to work with Ray Al Mitchell at the helm of the offense. He's 2 for 2, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. Talented junior.
Well, the question becomes on how to stop them. So what adjustment will they make? Well, let's take a look at the scouting report first on Real Mitchell. He's 5'11", 185 pounds. We've already seen the dynamic speed and the ability to make plays. Of course, a great comparison is to Michael Vick, of course, right? He's probably even a faster runner than Michael Vick, to be quite honest with you. But you know, he does have the tools of a dual threat quarterback. You know, the question is, you know, how well can he throw the ball down the field? Well, that's what Bishop Gormon's going to try to force him to do now.
Real Mitchell back in control. They'll go handoff on first down. And Terrence Beasley picks up 6. Real also, despite being just a junior, getting some offers. Utah has already offered him. Come play in the Pac-12. There's another look at Biagio Ali Walsh, and they continue to work on him back on the trainer's table.
They have his shoe off, it appears. Going to try to tape that ankle up.
2nd down and 4. Hole created, and Decent run there for Mitchell. Gets the first down at the 35-yard line. Showing some patience there behind the blockers.
Well, Real is listed at 6 foot. I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but he is very hard to see behind that offensive line. Watch how he sort of tucks himself in right behind the offensive line and then sort of squirts out from behind that offensive line to break off that run. That was Talavao that he was following, the 6'2", 305-pound sophomore. Easy to get lost behind 305 pounds.
1st and 10 from the 35. Braves looking to the sideline for the play.
Put him on, man.
Handoff goes to Beasley. And he picks up a couple of yards. Tackle made by the star linebacker, Paulie E.A. Tate. Coaches say he goes by EA, so that's what we're going with for now.
Yeah, well, I'll leave the pronunciations up to you.
And he is a 5-star recruit.
You've had to practice that all week.
Here's a screen pass. Beasley brought down shy of the 40-yard line. Good play in the open field by Alex Perry.
Yeah, very good assignment defense right here by the Bishop Gorman defense. I mean, whenever you have these screen passes set up, it's trying to catch somebody that's not disciplined in terms of what they're going to do defensively to try to bite on either the run fake or a pass down the field. That time it was very well diagnosed by the defense, waiting for Beasley after he made the catch. A nice short tackle to bring up the first 3rd and long of the game for St. John Bosco.
3rd down and 6. 5-receiver set. Mitchell going to try and run for it. He is pancaked behind between 2 Bishop Gorman rushers. Adam Plant Jr., the junior, already offered by USC, getting in there with Tate.
Yeah, Plant has USC, UCLA all on his list. Great prospect, 6'4", 240 pounds. And look at that athleticism, just swallows him up and gets to Mitchell. They lined him up at that defensive line spot. Might add a little bit more speed than some of the other guys in that interior, so he's able to get through on the pass rush, that time able to corral Mitchell before he could get to the outside.
St. John Bosco is stopped for the first time tonight. 2 of the top 3 teams in the nation having a good game so far. 14-7, St. John Bosco at the end of a quarter. Ranked team in the nation, St. John Bosco, with a 7-point lead after a quarter, and taking advantage of a very good run game, particularly with the quarterback, Real Mitchell.
Well, he has been the story so far. You can see the rush yards at St. John Bosco close to 100 yards rushing. The penalty yards have also killed Bishop Gorman, but they are still in this game, only down by 7.
Bosco came in tonight committed to stopping the run, and I mean stopping Biagio Ali Walsh. They've done that.
Well, it's been tough sledding for Biagio Walsh in terms of he has had not a lot of room to run. He's had a couple plays where he's able to get to the outside and, you know, break through. He's a very important dynamic to this offense, but this injury right here where it appears that he rolled his ankle, this sent him to the sideline, a huge concern for Bishop Gorman.
And for more on him, let's go down to the sidelines and Chris Riggs.
Well, guys, first of all, you saw the head-to-head impact on the tackle, and we know that impact in real life is always 10 times worse than you see on the camera. Came off to the sideline. Biagio very frustrated as he pounded the table. Dr. Perry and the training staff did a great job retaping it. They put on an extra brace. He's going to try to walk on it. But guys, knowing ankle injuries and the amount of pressure you have to put on a game of this caliber, I would be surprised to see Ali Walsh back in the game.
Thank you, Chris. The punt is fair caught at the 29-yard line for Bishop Gorman. We'll begin with the football there. Fair catch made by Austin Arnold, and there's the tape job on Biagio Ali Walsh. Tough kid to try and come back from that hit.
Well, yeah, well, you see what they're doing is they wrapped his ankle. He probably already had a wrap on his actual ankle before the game. Then he put the ankle brace on, as Chris mentioned, and now they put what they call a spap over the top for extra support. So you're right, it's an uphill struggle with an ankle injury. I mean, it's not very easy to run with or cut with, and so that will obviously limit it.
Toughness definitely runs in his family. We'll talk about that in a moment. Right now, Cianelli will take the first down carry, and he takes it out to the 34-yard line. Gain of 5. Sophomore getting some touches here.
Well, you talked about Diageo Ali Walsh is Muhammad Ali's grandson.
There's the Ali.
That's where the Ali comes in.
And of course, Muhammad always talked about how pretty he was. That goes for his grandson, too. He's a model.
Yeah, that's right. Great bloodlines. Right? Didn't know Muhammad had football bloodlines in him, but I guess the greats can do anything he wanted to, actually.
And Biagio's got a younger brother, Nico, who boxes. So that's in the bloodlines, too. Someone's got it covered.
I know there was somebody that had to have some anger in him.
Flag comes out in the secondary on that run play, so we'll see what the flag is for. Our referee tonight, Jerry Troutman.
Personal foul, number 14 in the offense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. We'll replay second down.
That's on Dorian Thompson-Robinson, so it went from 3rd and short. And they'll back him up. Let's take a look at the dual threat nature of Diageo Ali Walsh. We'll get to the dual threat in a moment. First, here he is with his grandfather, Muhammad Ali.
All right, what a classic picture right there, huh? Along with the greatest.
Greatest actually attended the 2014 Nevada State Championship game that Ali Walsh played in as a sophomore. And there's the dual threat nature. He's already got a modeling deal.
Yeah, already a contract. As you can see, his modeling started in June of 2016.
Wilhelmina Models out in Dallas signing him.
Yeah, handsome guy. I know he takes a lot of flack at school, though.
He's going to Cal next year if he keeps his commitment. Second down and long. It's Martell tucking and running. He'll get to the sideline. And even though that's a decent game, really good job by St. John Bosco trying to contain Martell as much as possible.
Well, they're trying, and you know, the same problem both defenses have is that, you know, there's nobody fast enough to contain either one of these quarterbacks. So that time when the seam opened up for Tate, he did the right decision. He pulled the ball down, and he got his team back into a 3rd and manageable situation. I mean, he was second and about 19, and now he has it to 3rd and 11, which is very doable.
He went over the top for a 49-yard touchdown pass to Dorian Thompson-Robinson on the last drive. 3rd down and 11. Martell steps up. And he'll throw to the sideline to Thompson-Robinson, who can't hang on. That would have been very close to a 1st down. And instead it'll be 4th down, 11 to go.
Yeah. Nice job by Tate Martell. Watch how he keeps his eyes up. He scrambles, but keeps his eyes up and throws this ball, and that's catchable. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he had that ball in his hands. Really a tough series for him. You know, the penalty, of course, moved his team back. And then, of course, the drop pass there. So you know he's going to get an earful from the head coach, as you would expect.
And a flag out here.
Illegal substitution.
Dead ball. Illegal substitution. Defense. 5-yard penalty. We'll replay 4th down.
So now 4th and 6.
Yeah, well, you know, if he would have caught that pass and made it a 4th and short, then that substitution penalty would have got him the 1st down.
At this point, not close enough to go for it outright, although we've seen Tate Martell attempt to fake punt once already. Back to receive for Bosco should be Berkeley Holman, and they will kick it to him. Short punt takes a St. John Bosco bounce into Bishop Gormon territory, so more good field position coming up here for the Braves.
Yeah, Tate hit that one off the side of his foot, and it had like a backspin to it, so when it hit the ground, it came back towards the line of scrimmage. That punt is going to net maybe about 10 to 15 yards. Not a lot of yardage change, you know, for Bishop Gormon. It's just been these types of miscues that have really been holding Bishop Gormon back. Sort of surprising, because this is a school and a team that plays in a lot of these big games. They are not in awe of the moment, but they're playing like that right now, just not playing Gormon football.
Let's get a quick update from Chris Ricks.
And JJ, you mentioned the kick off the side of his foot. Something else you guys can't feel up in the booth. That wind is picking up here at the vet, and that wind was right in his face. I think that played a factor in the kick as well.
1st and 10 from the 45, so now the wind at the back of Real Mitchell. And they're going with a reverse here. Ball in the hands of Bynum. Bynum got too good of a block. And that gain of 8, probably coming back. And there it is, block in the back, signaled against St. John Bosco.
Yeah, this is just a bad decision by one of the Bosco receivers. Anytime as an offensive player that you can see the name or the number of the back of the jersey of an opponent, you have to get off, lay
Block
off.
in the back. Offense number 10. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, but we'll replay first down.
Fortunately, it was in front of the sticks when he committed the penalty, so not exactly going to be 1st and 20 here. Although close to it.
Yeah, well, you can see right out in front, right there is where they're going to call the block. And it's, you know, just not a good decision in space. You see that little push in the back, and that's where the referee's going to get you every single time. Jonathan
Bonds with that push, so now 1st and 19. A lot of penalties tonight, mostly against Bishop Gormon, but that was a costly one on St. John Bosco. Handoff, Beasley tackled for a loss. And that's the big man, the Ohio State commit, Haskell Garrett.
Good play by Garrett. You see the ball go into Beasley, and he came from the backside, able to shut down. And that's what you have to do to really stop this, the zone read, is you have to get guys from the backside trying to come off of blocks, trying to make that play.
And some help from Paula-Ie Natioche. Now I'm in a rhythm, so I'm not going to call him EA until I fall out of it.
EA Natioche. Very good. Very good.
2nd down and long. And getting longer, and we got a timeout here. St. John Bosco's got to read through the playbook, flip through to that 2nd and 21. Let's check in on our prep zone action. Remember, you get your own picture-in-picture experience. You can pick your game from among our 4 prep zone contests. And here we've got a couple featuring top 20 schools.
Yeah, well, there's Centennial. They lost last week to IMG Academy by 1 or 2 points. It was like 50 to like 100, over 100 points scored in that game. They're up 21-0. Mission Viejo with a 20-7 lead. They are on the rise. There's Servite over De La Salle at halftime. Huge surprise there. And then Loyola over St. Augustine. A very good game, of course, at the half as well. Close at 7-3.
And it's nice to see a lot of schools coming here to the southern section to be on our Fox platform. Talked to both coaches, and they were very excited to play here tonight on Prime Ticket. But you've got De La Salle coming down from the North Coast section. You've got St. Augustine coming up from the San Diego section. Some really quality teams coming to play the best of the best here in Southern California.
You know, and when I talked to both coaches before the game, I really thanked them for that, because a lot of coaches don't have to do this. They don't have to play this game. I mean, you know, if you're Coach Sanchez or, you know, you're Coach Negro, you balk on this game, don't play it. You'll go through league, and you'll win your league, and you'll win a CIF title, and then you can argue about who's going to be the top in the nation instead of playing the best in the nation. So hats off to both of these coaches, knowing what's at stake. Both of them had the same level of nervous energy going before the game as well. But thanks to both coaches for putting this game together.
Kenny Sanchez, as you can see, perfect so far as a head coach. 17-0 coming into tonight. And he's got St. John Bosco in 2nd and forever. Whistle blows it dead.
Dead ball. Delay. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Delay coming out of a timeout. So 2nd down and 26. My guess is they have the same play in that playbook. On 2nd and 26 is 2nd and 20.
Not a lot of plays going on in that playbook. You see Coach Negro like, what am I going to call now?
We do have the home run hitters, and Real Mitchell, their quarterback, he's already broken off a long run tonight. Keeps it, throws over the top, beautiful pass. It's Berkeley Holman on the sideline, and they pick up the 1st down all the way to the 30.
Wow. I guess he did have a play for a 2nd and forever.
31-yard gain to Berkeley Holman, the Northwestern commit.
They fake the zone read, and then it just, one of the defenders lost Holman, who looked like he was on a wheel route. He goes outside like he's on a short route, then turned up the field, and the cornerback on that side sank too far to the inside, and Holman was wide open. 1st down and 10 from the 30. St. John Bosco already up 7. They go back to the ground and pound with Terrence Beasley. Well, that was a huge opportunity lost by Bishop Gormon. They had St. John Bosco in second and forever. You knew they had to throw the ball down the field, which is ideal in terms of what they wanted to do as a defense, force long yardage situations, and then you let Bosco off the hook.
Second down and 8 coming up. They sub in Demetrius Flowers as the rusher. He's got a touchdown run tonight. A throw, and the pass is complete to Tucker. Tucker made the first man miss, and taken down by Natiote. And flags are back in the pocket.
Roughing the passer, number 5 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And they're going to get Forte for that one, the defensive end, coming and hitting Mitchell after the throw. See, Coach Sanchez did not like that. That means he probably saw it.
I think he's asking for a hold somewhere else. Big penalty there against Bishop Gormon. They've had quite a few. Here's what Coach Sanchez was talking about, and the hit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was close, and you know, I know you're trying to protect the quarterback. I just don't like those type of calls in big games. You know, you just let the players decide it. That one was very, very touchy. It looked like he was one step into the quarterback.
I know if we asked Chris Rich, he'd say that's way too late. Quarterbacks always defend their own. Number 1 versus number 3 in the nation tonight. St. John Bosco and Bishop Gormon coming up just a couple minutes. We'll have Greg Biggins up here in the booth talking about rankings both for teams and for players here tonight. Option play to Flowers, and that is swallowed up. Natiote showing off the speed everywhere, and Pharrell Hester, another linebacker, getting into the mix as well.
Yeah, he really played this one really right. Watch, see how he's sort of trying to halfway do it. He squares his shoulders to Real, which for the quarterback means pitch the ball because he's waiting for me. But then after that, you can see Natiote, how he was able to release, get to the running back, and stop really both quarterback and running back on that play.
Second and long once again for St. John Bosco. Option right. And this time a little bit of running room. This job on the outside by Eli Garoon, the defensive back, coming up to make the play, and it will still be third and long from the 15. Third down and about 12. At 13.
Now that time they're going to go right after Real, force him to pitch the ball early. Remember last time they ran that option play to that side, the defensive end went to the running back and gave Real a nice running lane. That time they forced him to pitch it back and forced the pursuit to catch up.
It's the third down of the night for St. John Bosco, and they're going to be 1 for 3. Tackle for loss. Pharrell Hester, a commit to UNLV.
And that's a huge stop for Bishop Gormon. They could ill afford to give up another touchdown and go down another 14 points. They needed to get that stop. Even if they give up 3 here, they have an opportunity to score a touchdown and really get this game close before the half.
It's going to be a 34-yard try for Kalani Kukahiko. He is 2 for 3 on the season. Angled kick, and he puts it right through, drills it. Makes it a 10-point lead for St. John Bosco. When we come back, Greg Biggins is going to join us here in the booth. Number 3, St. John Bosco with a 10-point lead on Bishop Gormon. CIF Southern Section Game of the Week. It's more than that this week. It's a national championship game with St. John Bosco having plenty to cheer about. The number 3 ranked team in the nation leading number 1 Bishop Gormon. We welcome you high atop Veterans Memorial Stadium here in Long Beach. We've got Greg Biggins joining us here from Scout. And Greg, there is a ton of talent out there on the field. Too much to fit on one page, so we're going to start off with St. John Bosco in a moment. As we get back underway, St. John Bosco will have the ball to kick off with a 17-7 lead. And there's roughly 24 players that are going to play D1 football next year or the year after between these two schools. We'll get into them just a moment after we have the kickoff here from the Braves, leading 17-7. Good start for St. John Bosco, something they haven't had in their losses, as few as they might be the last couple of years. Short kick taken at the 20 and a fair catch made. Let's look at some of those top recruits, starting with the 2017 class coming out of St. John Bosco.
I mean, for me, watching Wyatt Davis, I mean, he's been the best player. I'm a lineman guy. I've been watching him. Most people have been watching the quarterback and the receivers, but Wyatt is, for me, the #1 offensive lineman in the nation, bar none. Ohio State kind of called it the dream school. That's a guy who probably Pete Carroll back in the day wouldn't let him leave home, but, you know, Wyatt took a visit there and loved it. Terrell Bynum, an early commitment, loves Coach Peterson at UW. Jacob Collier, I think he's an underrated kid. I think he's have probably double the offers he has right now. Berkeley Holman, a 4.0 GPA kid, obviously seek Northwestern. And then Ben Holmes, a 330-pound kid, also very, very big, strong, powerful kid.
1st and 10 from the 20. And it's the sophomore staying in there at running back in Cianelli. Let's take a look at Bishop Gorman's recruits. And
I mean, they got quite a few. They got quite a few. Got to be quick here because they run that no-huddle offense. But, yeah, Tate Martell, obviously his story is pretty much well-documented. Texas A&M, Ohio State now. Tyjon Lindsey not playing tonight, unfortunately. Haskell Garrett committed sight unseen to Ohio State. Wow. Bubba Bolden, an early USC commit, backed off once Keith Hayward left. And obviously Alex Perry, his best friend. Those two guys want to play together. ASU, Colorado may be leading, but Ohio State just offered Bolden, so watch out for them.
2nd down. And another run play. Good tackle on the outside, Jaden Woodby, who we'll talk about in a moment. But amongst those seniors, J.J., who stands out to you?
Well, I'm sort of along the lines of what he's at. I'm not a lineman guy. I don't watch the game. I'm looking at the receivers and the quarterbacks. But I think Wyatt Davis is no question, you know, really a special player. There's so many good players, though, when you watch a game like this. Is this where colleges really sort of, you know, make the difference of who they want? Because now it's a big stage and it's a big game.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, now both these teams are going to beat up just about everybody else, but you know, these are two elite, semi-junior college type teams. They got, you know, loaded with talent.
Martell
Tate's been a little bit off. Tate's been a little bit off tonight. I feel like he's 4th and 25. I don't know what that was all about. I think it's almost over-amped, which kind of happened a little bit in the Cedar Hill game. I think he needs to settle down just a bit.
Martell tried to go over the top there. There's Wyatt Davis, the big old lineman for St. John Bosco. And that's one of the special things about these two teams. As skilled as they are, as talented as they are, their lines have the best players.
Oh, phenomenal. And he plays left tackle for Bosco. I think he's going to be a guard at the next level. He's going to get the frame to be 330 if they want him to be. But he's so smart, technically sound. He's powerful. He plays through the whistle. He checks off every single box you could possibly want in a lineman.
4th down, and Bosco has to punt. Berkeley Holman catch at the 45, and it's a fair catch. So St. John Bosco, good field position once again. That's a recurring theme. Let's take a look at the defense here for Bishop Gorman tonight and some of the star players they have on display. You see the pressure that was applied by Bishop Gorman throughout the night. And for the most part, there have been some longer drives for St. John Bosco, but when the play's been able to be made, Paulie Natiote, I got his name right, has been involved.
For me, he's the best junior maybe in the nation. I mean, he is phenomenal. If you can watch him in Cedar Hill, he was the best player on that field, offers from every school in the country already. It'll be interesting to see. I keep hearing locally, USC, UCLA, but Ohio State again. There's that pipeline going right now. So we'll see if he stays local or decides to go to Columbus.
Another successful pitch and catch with Berkeley Holman involved. And of course, for all the rankings, make sure you're going to Scout. They've got all the 5-star, 4-star kids listed. I think the Holman family might have a problem. They only made him a 3-star kid.
I like him. I think he's good. I think Northwestern is a great fit for him. And, you know, a sneaky speed. I mean, he gets deep. You know, he stretches the field a little bit more than I think people give him credit for.
2nd down and 2. And Beasley gets a big hole. He's up the middle. He could be gone. And just getting a hand on the heel to stop that play. For Bishop Gorman, it was Bubba Bolden, another stud recruit.
Greg, I know you have to like this. Watch Terrence Beasley as he goes in between the tackles, that extra explosion. He's really showing something tonight, a kid that's really been underrated as well, has not had a lot of recruiting attention prior to tonight.
No, played behind Sean McGrew last year, one of our favorite guys, and went to, is at Washington right now. But I think Beasley's definitely a guy who can play at maybe a lower level, Pac-12, Mountain West level. Right now the offers haven't come in yet, but again, this is why this game tonight is so huge for him.
Right.
We're talking about speed, man. How fast is Real Mitchell? I was on the sideline over here. I thought I backed up. It was going to come at me. He turned the corner. The guy's having the angle on him. He was in the end zone a couple seconds later. Phenomenal speed.
Illegal substitution. 12 men on the field on the defense.
So add some yards there for St. John Bosco.
Been watching Gormon for a lot of years, and obviously twice this year. I haven't seen him this sloppy with the flags and the personal fouls and just out of sync.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to ask you. We've seen Bishop Gormon dominate, teams, and in classic games like this, they're not in awe of the moment. They play in a lot of these big games, but tonight it just sort of seems like they're a little bit on the edge. The personal fouls, the holding, the uncharacteristic things of a good team.
I've always said they're De La Salle, 5 years ago, with athletes, with better athletes. So, this moment is not too big for them. They're just not as poised as I'm used to seeing them tonight.
Great pursuit there by the Bishop Gormon defense. Haskell, Garrett, and Skylar Salva able to stop Real Mitchell.
Well, you get a chance to see how talented they are. Even when Real tries to go around them, you see the pursuit by the defense. That's the way how you can stop Real. You got to force them to go east and west. If you let them go north and south, it's over. But if you go east and west a little bit, pursuit can catch up.
Yeah, and that's a 295-pound kid right there, Haskell Garrett, chasing him down. He was 270 last year, so he's put on about 20 pounds just in the offseason. And still moves.
Second down and goal from the 15, and looked like they had a zig play when Bynum was zagging. Tried to cut to the sideline. The pass went in the end zone. One player who is also a top recruit who's not out on the field right now, Biagio Ali Walsh, took an injury earlier. And last report we got, he was trying to make a comeback. But he's committed to Cal, very special athlete as well, Grant.
Yeah, he got hurt, early, or excuse me, at the end of the Cedar Hill game, game 1. He didn't play last week, so hopefully he's going to be okay. But I think that's probably more of maybe a recurring injury that happened last week to him.
Beasley on the run, and he is knocked out of bounds. Hit late on him by Pharrell Hester, a 3-star commit going to UNLV. And when you label these kids 3, 4, 5 stars, there's more from Hester.
That's late, isn't it? Got away with one.
There's very little separating them. I don't know if that's where you're going, but I get all the time, why am I a 3-star? Honestly, 3 stars are great. You're expecting the guy to be a legitimate college prospect and do good things there. It's just, 5 stars, kind of your top 20 guys. 4-star would probably be
25-yard field goal up and good.
4 stars probably a top 300 guy, and then your 3 stars are, those are legitimate prospects. So there's very little separating them at all. You're still thinking this guy's going to have next level success.
Yeah, and when you rate the stars, it changes. Oftentimes these kids will go from their sophomore, junior, senior. They'll start at 3-star and go up. What is sort of the determining factor when they start to escalate up?
No, I'm glad you pointed that out, because again, it's all upside. Right now, we've always seen guys that are just good high school players, right. and that's as good as they're going to be. There's nothing wrong with that. Talking stars, talking next level, how they're going to be in 3 or 4 years from now. And, when they were sophomores, I'll give you an example. We loved Ricky Town. We thought Ricky had every physical tool, but he never developed. So he was a 5-star, and just the tools never improved. The arm, the mobility, it just never got better. Or as a guy like, again, Bosco, Josh Rosen, he was the same level, if not a little bit behind Ricky as freshmen, sophomores. The arm got better, the release got quicker, the athleticism, the strength, the size. So absolutely, you have to rank guys earlier and earlier. Just like colleges, they're often 8th graders now. Yeah. Trying to evaluate an 8th grader, how do you do that? So for us, yeah, you're giving stars out way earlier and before they make that jump. And the biggest, craziest thing about recruiting is the biggest jump usually is between your junior and senior year. Shoot, most of these offers already went out before your senior year. So it's a crazy system, it really is.
2 for 2 tonight for Kalani Kukahiko for St. John Bosco's made it 20-7, and again, short kick just basically kicks it out of bounds.
They just might as well give him the ball at the 35-yard line. He's not even trying to keep that ball in bounds.
Let's take a look at the recruits for the junior class from St. John Bosco. As you mentioned, the younger they are, the better they seem to be. So tell me which one of these guys is going to be Barry Sanders.
It almost seems like you haven't had a chance to find all the little nicks and in the pock marks yet. Real Mitchell again offered. He's only played 2.5 games so far. So that Utah offer, that's going to be, you're going to see about 12 schools probably by the end of this season. Jaden Woodby's an interesting kid. I saw him before the game. The kid's probably put on 15 pounds. I think he's going to be an outside linebacker when I see him in college. I love Blaylock. I think he's a legitimate safety. And Chris Steele, sophomore, he is a special talent. I think he's going to be very good in a couple years.
1st and 10 from the 35. And they go with the run play. Minimal gain. The 2nd down and 8. How about Bishop Gorman's class of 2018?
I mean, the linebacker, right? Let's call him EA. That's the nickname that makes it easy. For me, special talent. Number one, I would say he's the number 1 backer out west right now as a junior. Again, I think he's all over the field. Brevin Jordan, haven't used him that much. Most high schools, for whatever reason, don't love to use that tight end. And then Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to be a quarterback. The guy can absolutely spin that football. Big, strong kid.
2nd down and 8. They're going over the top, looking and making the catch.
What a catch.
Inside the 30. I believe that's Austin Arnold. Yes, it is, reeling it in for the big gain.
Well, Austin Arnold, who plays receiver and also running back. I thought with the injury to Ollie Walsh, we'd see him at the running back spot, but now he shows up at the receiver spot. Very nice job of concentration catch, definitely in bounds. That's a great job of concentrating by Arnold.
Beautiful ball, too, right there by Tate. I don't think he gets enough credit for being just a really pure passer.
Well, he threw that deep ball to Thompson-Robinson for the touchdown. It was a really nice ball. I thought he overthrew it when it left his hand, but it ended up landing right on the money.
False start there against Bishop Gorman. So they'll make it 1st and 15. We've got Greg Biggins from Scout up here in the booth with us. And JJ, we've seen several really good receivers on the field. You're an expert in that position. What separates them? Give Greg some criticism here, what you're looking for from a receiver.
Well, for me, it's route running because I'm just a big proponent on playing the game the right way. I mean, when it comes to the star ratings and stuff, everybody says, give me a bunch of speed and, give me the height, and it sort of becomes the measurables. I'd like to discipline as some of the receivers run because I still think that that's an art that is really lost.
They go for the deep ball again. Touchdown. Wow. Beautiful pitch and catch. It's Brevin Jordan, the big tight end, reeling it in, and it's back to a 1-possession game.
How about that? They lined up Jordan out wide and created a natural mismatch because he's huge with that 6'2" frame listed at 6'2". It looks like more like 6'3", 6'4" from here. But another great ball by Tate Martell. I mean, you can't throw that ball any better than that. And what great concentration, able to hold on to that one. Wow.
I mean, right now, he's our number 1 junior in the whole entire junior class.
Is he?
At the tight end position. Okay. And again, right now, not a pure pass catcher. You mentioned the routes. I'm a big guy. I like to kind of catch the ball. I'm a big hands guy. And Brevin has all the physical tools. Just get those hands. Just want to see those hands.
Watch it throw by Martell. Look at the punishment he takes after he delivered the football. But that ball was right on the money. And you're right. Jordan's had some problems with the drops a little bit early on in this season, but that was great concentration. And you mentioned the hands. He had that one in his hands and never even brought it to his body. Just strong hands held on to it.
As a former receiver, you're still a receiver.
I did, yeah. You see me at halftime of these things?
Disappointed that not seeing Tyjon tonight. I mean, that's a guy who can catch, he can run routes. I mean, again, he's that small slot guy, explosive, but dude, he is a route runner who can catch everything. Explosive kid too. Yeah, well, Tyjon Lindsey is one of those guys that can change the dynamic of the game. That that's the thing. Also, Sam, to your question about receivers. Guys that, when they touch the ball, they change the game, right? And they, it's maybe even a run after catch. That's impressive. It's one thing to be sort of basic and sort of be able to do the normal things that, a quality receiver can do. But Tyjon Lindsey is a game breaker, and he probably is a big difference in this game. We talked about several injuries for Bishop Gorman. They've had a couple tonight as well. That's holding them back. I mean, not that they're not going to be competitive either way, but that is a huge factor. The guy's not playing for Bishop Gorman tonight because of all the injuries.
Good return there for Berkeley Holman. And JJ's also an expert in defensive backs. You caught up with one earlier, Jalen Red. We're going to see a bit of your one-on-one matchup. Can we get a preview, sneak preview here, JJ?
I wouldn't call it an expert. Now, you're going to watch him. It's holding, it's pass interference. I mean, next time I do these things with these defensive backs, I'm taking a referee out there.
Just go shirtless, JJ. Just show off the
exactly.
Show off the abs. You still got that?
Well,
don't let them hold
my shirt. I know it's that kind of frustrating,
1st and 10 from 36, minimal gain here for Beasley. And Greg, one of your extra activities in addition to ranking plays, you're ranking teams for us this year on Fox Sports West. You check out the website, you get the top 20 every week. We have a question Why did Centennial get dropped to number 3? What happened?
I didn't want to do it. I mean, literally, I love those guys. I love Matt Logan. I did not want to do it. My thing was, after watching IMG, I think Gorman's better than IMG. So my feeling was,
There's a pass over the middle, broken up, intended for Bynum.
if Bosco were to beat Gorman, I wanted to already have Bosco ahead of Centennial. Because again, I just watching this IMG from the sidelines, I like Gorman better than IMG. So I just felt like it'd be easier to keep Bosco there than to bump him up after the fact. So, but dude, trust me, I love Centennial. They were the better team in that game. Again, I watched it twice. I was on the sidelines. They played 5 times. I think Centennial wins 3 of them. I really do. So that was tough. If you guys argued, I'm on your side. Trust me.
No, we're just, we just wondered why the fall for Centennial, with a great game they played against IMG, right? I mean,
great game. I mean, just one play, just one play away.
Attempt there for Berkeley. Holman can't come up with a catch, so St. John Bosco now 1 for 5 tonight on 3rd down conversions, and it's a 4th down punt situation.
And the one thing you can feel is that the momentum starting to shift over to the Bishop Gorman side. They're down by 6. But momentum clearly on their side as they get the 3 and out they needed. They forced Real to have to throw from the pocket. He did not have success on that drive, and so now it's a punt situation.
And these guys over here, I'm referring to Gorman, that's a college-level coaching staff. They are the king of making adjustments at halftime. They're a second-half team. So if it's close, watch out for Gorman. They're really good in the second half.
Punt is very short.
He shanked it.
And it goes out of bounds shy of the 50. So good field position here for Bishop Gorman. Not a lot of time left, under a minute to play here in the first half, but maybe enough to either make it a 3-point game or even take the lead.
Well, it looked like he was going to try the rugby-style punt, but Haskell Garrett, and he's listed at 6'2", there's no way. He's like 6'4", and he's right. Look, you see, there's no way as a punter, you see that much man coming at you that you're not going to shake the punt. So you get a pass from us for missing that one.
Coming up at halftime, it is the year of the DB, Jaylon Red versus our own JJ.
Dude, I love Jaylon Red. I think he's such a good football player. I'm looking forward to watching that.
And then we've got JJ's memorable moments as well as all your first half stats and highlights. First down, lots of pressure on Martell, scrambling, going to the sideline, and he can't put it on the target. Looking for Dorian Thompson-Robinson, incomplete. It'll be 2nd down. Greg, with all the things you do, you rank players for scout, you rank teams for us. What do you get the most flack for? What are you getting blown up on Twitter for?
You know, surprisingly, I haven't gotten a whole lot of flack for the team thing yet. It's more players. It's more, hey, why isn't my kid rated higher? Why is, he rushed for more yards than this guy did? And so trying to explain the whole, why guys are higher than lower, I would say it's that on a daily basis, especially when it comes to quarterback. There's not a nuttier species on the planet than the dad of a quarterback.
2nd down and 10. Martell starting to scramble. Flag comes out in the pocket. And there's just not a lot of room for Martell. Does pick up a decent amount of yardage, but we'll check on the flag.
In terms of dual threat quarterbacks, we're seeing 2 dual threat quarterbacks tonight. In terms of dual threat quarterback, well, hang on, let's get the official call first.
Jerry Troutman.
Okay, all right. Holding, offense number 75. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, and we'll replay 2nd down.
Jacob Isaiah flag there.
But in terms of dual, let's take a look at the hold. So you're going to see 75 at the top of your screen. Little spin move by Collier, and I don't know if that's holding.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, he spun himself into the ground.
That happens every play if you want to call that.
That's like drawing a charge in basketball.
3 in the key, right? You call it every play if you want to.
Here's a look at the penalties, and Bishop Gorman, almost 10 yards a penalty.
That's a lot for a game. A lot for a game for Bishop Gorman normally.
So 2nd down and forever. 27. And we'll go with the screen play to Cianelli. Cianelli gets to the 45 and is taken out of bounds.
In terms of dual threat quarterbacks, where does Tate rank around the country?
I think he's up there. I think you hear the term dual threat, you immediately think, okay, can't throw, more of a runner. That's usually people's stereotype. But again, watching Tate, since literally 7th grade, I think he's an underrated thrower. He's a guy who literally, he wins every 7-on-7 event. 5'10", I get that. But the thing that makes Tate special, he's tough, he's a leader, and he's a winner. Like, those are 3 qualities that quarterback has to have, and he has all 3 of them. So I think as far as a pure passer, he's probably the best dual threat passer in the country.
Less than 30 seconds in the half. Third down and 16. Martell wants to run. Gets to the corner and a flag out at midfield.
This game was lacking some of the flow. I was hoping, you know, again, I was driving here thinking, man, I was there for Mater Dei and De La Salle. I was there for Pauly De La Salle. I was kind of jacked, but it just feels like there's just not as much flow and buzz as I was hoping for, just because a lot of the flags.
Holding. Offense, number 26. Hold on.
Yeah, it hasn't been as clean a game as you would expect from two teams. Now, remember, it's still a little bit early in the season. These teams will be much better towards the end. But you're exactly right. There's been probably more penalties than we would have
Offense,
expected.
number
Just
26.
a choppy game.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, and we'll replay third down.
They will march him back. It'll be third down again from the 40-yard line.
I don't know why you wouldn't just decline that and take the punt, get the ball back in your hands, instead of giving him one more chance.
17 seconds remaining in the half. Martell on 3rd and 22 again. Pressure. Steps up, throws over the top into double coverage, and that one is intercepted, but a flag comes out at the 20.
That's why you decline the penalty and take the football.
I agree, although I'm not sure that was that. I know you're a receiver, JJ, but I don't know. You got to call that?
From my receiver eyes, I say that's pass interference. From an analyst eyes, you're right. Very questionable. Just looks like their feet got tangled up.
You know, one thing about Gormon is you talked about Tyjon Lindsey, and he's a difference maker. I mean, you talk about those 5 stars, 4 stars. The 5 stars are those guys that can literally change a game like that. The Ali Walsh is probably their second fastest, most dynamic player. If not their fastest guy. Take out those 2 guys, and all of a sudden Gormon, they don't look as explosive as they normally do.
Yeah, this is just a situation where you just got your feet tangled up. That's not pass interference.
I think the 20-yard line is what tipped them up right there. I don't know if that was the Bosco guys.
Tyrell Thomas, a Montana State commit, making that catch. So even with the penalty, because this is not the NFL where you put it at the spot of the foul, it'll be third down and fairly long, and there's only 9 seconds left in the half. Timeout will be taken, and Bishop Gormon will dig through the playbook for what they can do to pick up 45 yards. We've seen Tate Martell can throw it that far.
He can. I mean, he's got a live arm. Again, watching him at different, events, and 5'10" and a half. I'll repeat that again because people say, oh, he can't throw, but he's 5'10" and a half. Dude, the guy can absolutely throw it. I mean, he's got a live arm, and he can get it there, absolutely. I just don't know if they have, the receiver, maybe Brevin Jordan, maybe Dorian, but I think they're definitely seeing some lack of their normal explosiveness right now. And you should give Bosco credit. I've been watching them for a long time. This is the best Bosco defense I've seen in 15 years. I mean, they're big up front, they're fast, they're athletic. I mean, so give them credit for kind of keeping Gormon kind of containing those guys so far this first half.
Yeah, that's not an easy task. I mean, they've given up 14 points, but that is great defense against this Gormon offense.
Possibly the last play of the half, third down. Martell rolls out right. He'll let it go. Has a man near the corner, but he threw it over the sideline. 1 second left on the clock, so they'll have a fourth down play to work with here and take another shot at the end zone.
Yeah, I'm surprised he threw that ball out of bounds because he had one-on-one coverage in the secondary with the matchups. I'm surprised he didn't give one of his tall receivers a chance to pull that one in.
Well, Greg, we'll be watching your top 20, and we'll be watching your game previews as well. Greg previews all of our Game of the Week action here for Fox Sports Prime Ticket. And you mentioned during that, best defense you've ever seen from Bosco this year.
I do. I mean, again, Collier and Murray up front. Linebackers are fast. They got 3 or 4 legitimate defensive backs that'll play at the next level. It's a good, fast, aggressive defense.
On fourth down, Martell buying time. He'll let it fly. It's in the end zone and broken up.
Got it down, right? Got it down.
And we'll be watching where Centennial is, too, by the way.
I love the Huskies. I'm a huge fan, so I deserve to get beaten up over that one. Trust me, I'm good with it.
20-14 is your halftime score. And Greg Biggins, thanks so much for coming
thanks for having me.
Thanks for all the work, too. It's not like you didn't have a full-time job before.
Yeah, well, I want Greg to get out of here because I need the job. He looks like he's going to audition for my spot.
JJ. Come on, man. You're the goods.
Great job, buddy.
20-14, our halftime score in favor of St. John Bosco. Let's go down to the field. Chris Ricks has Coach Jason Negro. The Ford CIF Southern Section halftime report continues here from Veterans Stadium in Long Beach. Number 3 in the nation, St. John Bosco leading the number 1 ranked Bishop Gorman Gales by 6. Sam Farber, John Jackson here in the booth. Let's take a look at the first half highlights. And it started early with the Braves defense.
Yeah, the Braves defense really played lights out to start this game. They had a great idea on what to do to control Tate, Martell, and company. They were able to pursue the ball and really keep things under control. And then it was the Bosco offense that started to get it going, where Flowers had this 8-yard run where he made 6 guys miss to give Bosco a 7-0 lead. And then Real would get out on the edge and use his great speed to take this one in from 38 yards away. That made it 14-0.
At that point was a big lead for Bosco, and then the Gorman defense woke up.
Well, they finally found a way to sort of slow them down, and they started to, started collapsing on the zone reads and stuff that Real and company were able to run successfully in the first quarter. As that defense started to rally, the offense came on too.
Just like Bosco, defense makes plays, offense gets opportunities.
Well, Tate Martell hit this long pass to one of his receivers. That Thompson Robinson. Sorry about that. Thompson Robinson for the first score for Bishop Gorman. That put momentum on their side, and then this touchdown to Jordan, which was really a key in the second half to get them back into the game. That made it a 6-point game, and that's where we stand now.
Couple of notes standing out there. Bishop Gorman good on the pass game, but bad in terms of penalties, over 100-yard penalties in that first half of play. Let's go down to the sidelines. Chris Ricks as head coach Kenny Sanchez of the Gales.
Coach Sanchez, your boys fought back at the end of the first half. What are your thoughts on the first half of play?
Yeah, real sloppy by us. We got to get back to playing disciplined football. We had way too many penalties, holding penalties. We had a personal foul on 3rd and 1 that really hurt us, and we had to punt the ball. So, we're lucky to be this close right now. We got to eliminate those penalties in the second half, and then, we'll be right back in there.
Unfortunate injury to Biagio in the first half. Does that change your game plan at all coming into the second half with the run and pass?
No, it can't. You just got to go next man in. Can't worry about the guys that go down. I mean, obviously he's a great player, and we hope he's going to be okay. But you don't have time to think about that in the game. You just got to go next man in. You got to go.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
All right, thanks.
Guys?
Thank you, Chris. And an update from our Fox Sports Prep Zone games. We've got a good one between Servite and De La Salle. The Friars leading 27-20 on the Spartans. 2 minutes left. You don't have to flip anywhere. You can do picture-in-picture. Get your Fox Sports Go app going. Watch that game on the small screen while you watch this one on the big screen. Number 1, Bishop Gorman on the road visiting number 3, St. John Bosco. Braves receiving to start the second half. And the kick is taken at the 4-yard line by Berkeley Holman. We will take it past the 20 down to the 23-yard line, and that is where St. John Bosco will begin the second half of play.
We're going to start this second half with a penalty as well. It's going to be a late hit. It's going to be sportsmanlike conduct against one of these teams. I'm not sure who they caught with the penalty, though.
After the return, dead ball, personal foul on the receiving team. Half the distance, and it'll be first down.
Jerry Troutman, our official, so St. John Bosco committing a mistake early, getting back to the shadow of their goalposts. But Bosco the lead 20-14. Coach Negro talked earlier in the week. He wanted his team to come out fast. They did. They're leading the number 1 team in the nation.
Yeah, they got off to a great start, and a lot of it was set up by the defense by getting the ball back for the offense in favorable field position. This has not been typical of a Bosco start. They're down at about their 12-yard line starting this drive. 1st and 10. The handoff goes to Terrence Beasley, and Beasley gains a yard. You heard Greg Biggins mention that the one thing that has sort of been the reputation of Bishop Gorman is the ability to make adjustments and to change the game plan within the game. Well, they have done exactly that. They had a huge problem trying to stop the zone read and the option from St. John Bosco in the first quarter. Since that point, they've done a very good job of stopping a very potent offense. 2nd down and 9. Greg called Bishop Gorman a college-level coaching staff led by Kenny Sanchez. Real Mitchell over the top. He's got Berkeley Holman, drops it in there at the 50, and he's down to the 40-yard line. It's a pickup of over 45 yards for St. John Bosco, and they flipped the field at the very least. Well, if they had Holman in a one-on-one coverage situation, he ran right by the defender, I think it was Francis that was trying to cover him in man-to-man coverage. He's in the slot, but he runs right by him. You see Francis trailing, and Holman had to slow down a few steps to catch that one. Otherwise, he goes trotting right into the end zone.
1st and 10 from the 40, and a nice play by the linebacker, Tate, to hit Beasley right around the line of scrimmage. 2nd down.
See St. John Bosco, no huddle offense. It's not a hurry-up offense. Sometimes there's a sense of urgency to it, but sometimes they run it just like this, just wanting to get up on the ball and force the defense to react quickly.
Pass is high, was intended for Christian Gilbert. Senior has been offered by Idaho so far.
Yeah, Gilbert, a returning starter from last year. Very productive receiver in his junior year. Had over 20 catches.
Pressure was coming right up the box that time from the Ohio State commit, Haskell Garrett.
He is a load to deal with.
So 3rd down and 10. Again, Bosco flipped the field with that long pass to Berkeley Holman, and they continue the drive. Pitch to Beasley, and he's going nowhere. Austin Arnold on the pursuit, hits him well behind the line of scrimmage. They'll lose about 9 yards on the play, and it'll be 4th down.
Well, very good defense once again by Bishop Gormon. Real that time, he drops back, but he barely looked like it was a designed screen. But once again, it seems like Bishop Gormon has made the adjustments. They understand what the plays that are coming. And right now, Bosco trying to use the short passing game to get something going. But because of the discipline and, of course, the man-to-man coverage that Bishop Gormon has been able to incorporate, they're able to stop that drive.
Olani gets a good kickoff this time. And fair catch is made by Austin Arnold.
There's one good side for St. John Bosco is they had the big play to Holman, which shifted field position. So although they'll give the ball back to Tate Martell and company, they're going to have to start deep in their own end.
Tate Martell started to get going there at the end of that first half. Let's look a little deeper at his scouting report.
Well, you can see Tate Martell is 5'11", 190 pounds. That's not impressive, but what is impressive is he is a winner. He's competitive, and you've seen it in improvisation all night long in terms of him being able to make plays or get his team out of bad plays. That's what makes him such a special quarterback.
Coach Negro calls him Tate Manziel, referring more to the Texas A&M Johnny football than the NFL version.
Yep, similar fashion in terms of being able to make the playmaking ability.
And the big plays are what stands out today.
Right, and look, and the biggest number, of course, and that's, row of statistics is the 0 interceptions. He takes care of the football. For the most part, he's been a very good decision maker at that quarterback spot ever since he got the job as a sophomore. 2nd down.
Unfortunately, Biagio Ali Walsh has not been able to return to the game, so a big weapon for Bishop Gormon lost to injury. That pass incomplete, looking for Austin Arnold, and we got the update from Greg Biggins. It's not necessarily just something here. He's been nicked up throughout the season.
Yeah, well, Ali Walsh, he runs with a physical, aggressive style. I mean, you saw even on the run that he got hurt, got hurt lowering his head into another defender. So he's not a guy that's shy of contact, but because of that, the lack of durability, it can also be an issue as well. Very tough runner, very fast, and very necessary in this offense, but he takes a lot of bumps and bruises, and this one unfortunately knocked him out of this game.
It's that or he's rope-a-doping us right now.
No, he is
doubtful. He is the grandson of Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
3rd down run, and Tate Martell is able to pick it up. Assuming the official spot is right where that side judge is standing, that should be enough.
And see, that's where Tate Martell solves a lot of problems for Bishop Gormon. That time they had him. I mean, the pass coverage was good down the field. The pass rush was closing in on him, but he found room to escape, and it appears that he got beyond the 1st down marker. Now, the referee marked this very close. Might be short of the 1st down marker now that I look at it.
He took a step back. Sometimes when those side judges get out of the way of the rusher, maybe a false first impression, so they're going to measure this one. Jerry Troutman leading our officiating crew here tonight at Veteran Memorial Stadium in Long Beach. Stretch the chains, and he's a couple links short of a 1st down.
See, and this is a big deal, because watch what happens. On the sideline, you're Martell, you're running for the first down marker. Now see, he wants to get beyond the first down marker, but the guy holding the first down marker lays it down, and so he comes up about 3 inches short of the first down because the first down marker moved, and he got a false impression of how far he needed to go to get that first down. Usually, like at the college level, you'll see that orange stripe that lays on the ground that they put down before every single play, so the guys running to the sideline know where the first down marker is. That time, they don't have that here. He used the pole as a reference point, and he came up about 3 or 4 inches short.
So 4th down, and this could potentially be a big play if St. John Bosco can stop him.
No question. So you got to go quarterback sneak here.
And Martell does just that, trying to push the pile. That's close. Bosco got a surge and got someone in the backfield to try and pull Martell back. We'll see the spot. And they signal first down right away.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. And in the initial push, they got about maybe a foot. But then they got pulled back about 3 feet, and that made it sort of questionable. But Tate definitely got the first down. Watch the initial surge. This is what the officials are looking at. And then right here, they're going to try to pull him backwards, and by that time he had the first down. But that's very close. I don't know. That was a very close spot.
It was a good effort by Sal Spina in the middle of that St. John Bosco line to try and stand him up. It is a first down. They go with the read option, and Martell keeps it. Picks up 9. Tate Martell compares his game to Russell Wilson. Scouts rankings, he's the #2 quarterback in this senior class behind Davis Mills, who's committed to Stanford.
Yeah, and he and Mills have been probably one of the most popular names at the quarterback position, because when they were young, Mills being in 8th grade, got an offer from USC, and Tate, of course, was committed to, or had an offer, I can't remember if he was committed or not, but definitely an offer from Washington back when he was a freshman, right? And so, both these guys have been on the quarterback radar for a long time.
I guess we shouldn't be surprised that Dorian Thompson-Robinson is an offer without throwing a pass in high school. Those kids weren't in high school and they're getting offers.
No surprise.
Here's a first down pickup by the sophomore tailback, Ahmad Cianelli. Came into tonight's game with less than 100 yards rushing on the season, but he has been the primary back since Biagio Ali Walsh went out to injury. Got whistles and a break in the action. We've got a player down right now for St. John Bosco. That's Stephen Blaylock, senior defensive back for the Braves, who lead this one 20-14. Still early in the 3rd quarter. Sam Farmer, John Jackson, Chris Ricks here with you tonight on Fox Sports Prime Ticket, our Ford CIF Southern Section Game of the Week and the National Game of the Week as well.
How fitting that this game is as close as we thought it would be. I mean, we thought this game would go down to the 4th quarter and be decided possibly on the last drive of the game. Neither team has disappointed us, and it's been the momentum swings both ways. Bosco had the momentum early in this game, and then, of course, Bishop Gorman found a way to battle their way back into this game and close it to within 6, and we're headed for a great finish.
Both these coaches talked about the mythical national championship. It's all a matter of opinion, but both these teams, by the way their schedule works out, really mapped out a path to win it if they win tonight. St. John Bosco plays in the toughest division, the toughest league, and the toughest section, and the toughest states in the nation. And Bishop Gorman, when you look at their schedule over the last 2 seasons, this year and last year, they're going to play schools representing 9 different states, and they don't go out and find cream puffs. They find the best team in that state and do their best to beat them. More often than not, they do. Yeah,
and talking to Coach Sanchez, that's sort of been the motto. They've dominated league play in Las Vegas, for years, right? And so, because of that, they don't want to shy away from competition and have people, criticize them of avoiding or ducking anybody. So they will go across the country. Part of it is, for the competition, and also part of it for the experience for the kids, which is another reason I think it's, great an attraction to go to Bishop Gorman, because, you go there and You end up going to different, 3 or 4 different states, just for, every football season. So it's just a great opportunity.
And you get in front of different college coaches as well. College coaches, they've got access to planes and jets and helicopters, and they find their way to different people. But when you're in his backyard, Coach Clay Helton has an easier time to find you, and there's, I'm sure, a lot he likes out there on this field.
Yep, Clay Helton, Johnny Nansen, both taking this game in. No surprise here, and there's probably several other colleges paying very close attention tonight to a lot of different players.
After the break, they're able to get Blaylock off the field. Keep an eye on him, see if he's able to return. 1st and 10, Bishop Gorman just past their own 40-yard line. Martell on the option. He'll tuck and run. Has the corner this time. And gets out of bounds with a pickup of nearly 15 yards. One of the rare times he has been able to get beyond the perimeter of the St. John Bosco defense.
Well, they have made some adjustments with their offense and the blocking schemes up front that have allowed, Tate and company to get something going. They are not going to win this game if they don't have some semblance of a run game to command the respect for St. John Bosco's front 7. Now, as Greg Biggins alluded to, this is a great front 7 that St. John Bosco has, and so you have to give them the proper respect, but you can't avoid them. Tate Martell doing a good job because that'll force man coverage behind and hopefully some deep throws later. 1st down, handoff. Austin Arnold on the right side. He gets unloaded on by Tyrell Thomas. Oh, wow.
It's close to a 1st down, but a message sent by Thomas.
Oh. Now, Thomas is a cornerback, but he hit that time like a linebacker. Watch as he gets around the corner and watch this hit. Bam! Oh, I love it. There's just so much talent on this field. That is a big-time hit right there by Thomas.
He just committed in the last month to Montana State. I think the coaches up there are hoping. I hope not too many of those D1 coaches around here saw that. He might get some more offers. That was a big hit. Wow. 1st down play, minimal gain for Bishop Gorman. Tackle made by Kyle Murray. 6 foot, 237-pound senior. Coach Negro said something I thought was very interesting before the game. Said there's a ton of talent out here on the field, that this game is going to be won. Both coaches said something similar. This game is going to be won by the normal high school players on the field surrounding those athletes.
Right, because you know what you're going to get from the great players. I mean, we're seeing great effort, across the board, whether you're talking about Real Mitchell or you're talking about Tate Martell, the quarterbacks, receivers have played well. Garrett's played well on defense. So you're going to get great play from the great players. It's the other guys that have to come through. 10th play of the drive. Improvisation by Martell. Wide open. Goes to the sideline, has his man, and making the first man miss. Still dancing around is Jordan. He gets the 1st down just outside the red zone. Was improvisation one of the adjectives for Tate Martell? Watch this. I mean, they have him bottled up, and he turns, reverses field, but keeps his eyes down the field with the ability to find the open receiver. He finds Jordan once again for another big catch. The run after catch gives him the 1st down. What an incredible play by Tate Martell. He is special. One thing he does do, he hangs that football out there. No, it's available if someone can get to it, but few do. On the carry here on 1st down, Austin Arnold getting some time at running back. I think he heard your request, JJ. Well, they're going to have to rotate running backs because Cianelli, who is the backup running back, cannot carry the full load with Ali Walsh out of the game, so Arnold's going to get his opportunity at some touches. You can see they have, right now, you can sort of feel that they have St. John Bosco a little bit out of sorts in terms of, responsibility and gap control. This Bosco defense is very, very good. Right now, this Bishop Gorman offense becoming very effective. They'll throw on 2nd down, pass complete, but great coverage. Coming up for the hit was Chris Steele, sophomore defensive back, hitting Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and they'll lose a couple yards. Great play recognition by Steele, understanding the bubble screen was coming, and then there was a receiver in front that was going to try to block or attempt to block him, ran right through him to the receiver and tackled him before he could get started. Very good defensive play. Very good understanding of what the offense wanted to do.
Third down has not been kind to Bishop Gormon tonight. They are 0 for 6. 3rd and 3 in the red zone. And they'll go handoff, and they'll pick up their first down of the night all the way to the 5-yard line. Ahmad Cianelli, the sophomore, makes it 1st and goal for Bishop Gormon.
Well, because there's so much respect for Tate Martell taking off, they run the zone read. They do not block the defensive end. And watch, the handoff to Cianelli, he gives it to him, and he runs right by the defensive end who was unblocked. Good decision by Tate Martell, handing the ball off. That's part of the read. He had the choice to hand it or keep it himself. Wisely enough, he handed the ball off. Cianelli gets the 1st down.
Now they go with their big jumbo package. 1st down runs. Cianelli takes it to the 2. St. John Bosco has not trailed for a moment tonight, led by as many as 14. But Bishop Gormon's 2 yards and a PAT away from taking the lead.
Well, this is a surprising drive in the sense that the Bishop Gormon offensive line is now getting off the ball and being able to maintain blocks against a very talented Bosco front.
They go with 3 backs. That formation, Martell slips, gets the handoff, and Cianelli does the rest. Martell kept his knees off the turf just long enough, and Cianelli in for the score.
Boy, this almost spelled disaster. As Martell pulled away from the center, it looked like he tripped over one of his players' foot that pulling guard. He does right there, but he's able to get the handoff to Cianelli, and he's able to get the ball into the end zone. What an effective drive and well-needed drive by Bishop Gormon.
Flag before the PAT.
The opportunity to take the lead here. Wow.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense number 42. Half the distance to the goal, we'll replay the try.
They'll most likely, Bishop Gormon will most likely decline that penalty. Of course, it doesn't gain too much, an extra point to move it up a half a yard, or about 1.5 yards, I should say.
If you wanted to change it and go for 2, maybe you take it, but otherwise
keep it the same for the field goal kicker, the holder. Makes things a lot easier.
Derek Ing, 8 for 10 on the season coming into tonight. He's been perfect so far, 2 for 2. And make it 3 for 3. So for the first time tonight, Bishop Gormon has a lead 21-20. Ahmad Cianelli with the run for the touchdown, but Tate Martell able to get that handoff away, and number 1 in the nation leads by 1. For the first time tonight, Bishop Gormon has a lead. The number 1 team in the nation leads 21-20 with just over 3 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. Not the only great game going on tonight in the southern section. Here's a look at the prep zone action. Everything a final, and De La Salle got it done. Servite, great effort tonight.
Yeah, incredible. Centennial rolls once again, and that Mission Viejo score. They're very good, making a statement as they're going to be one of the best teams, in the Division I. That's surprising. De La Salle able to come back, just miraculous. There's no quit in them, and they've done that several times. And you see St. Augustine over Loyola as well. And so it's a surprising night. It was a lot of different scores at halftime. You saw De La Salle, St. Augustine come back and rally in the second half. How does that do for your picks?
That's not good for my picks.
Okay.
That's not good. We also had a nice win by Bishop Ahmad, coming back to beat
Come on
Sarah.
now.
Lancers having a good showing.
A little pride there.
St. John Bosco trailing for the first time, and Berkeley Holman will take the kick inside his own 5-yard line. Has a good run back here all the way to the 30. Great run for Bosco. One other thing to bring up with the prep zone games, they are archived all the way back. So if you want to see what a kid looked like a couple weeks ago, a couple years ago, want to see what Adoree Jackson looked like when he was playing at Sarah, you can do that. Go check out our prep zone archives. Some great footage back there. I think a few of JJ's memorable moments there.
Yeah, you get a little bit of everything. I love that, the prep zone.
There's a look at Cordell Brodus, and Snoop Dogg's son. He was in Bishop Gormon's offense not too long ago. Going to root on his alma mater. Got that big ceremony, went to UCLA, but decided not to play.
Yeah, decided not to play football. I believe he's still a student at UCLA now.
First down, and the defense has come to life here for Bishop Gormon. brought us here rooting on the Gales, who have brought quite a bit of the student body here from Las Vegas.
They travel well. I mean, you know, now there's a lot of players that are from California that play on this Bishop Gorman team, but they do travel well to pretty much every place they go. I mean, it's a great following of Bishop Gorman fans.
Real Mitchell on second down, pump fake, creates some space, but there's not much room on that sideline. Out of bounds near the 30, and trying to keep him away from the Bishop Gorman players on the sideline.
It is getting very chippy on the field, and so, you know, there's, especially in the second half where you can ill afford, you know, senseless penalties. It's going to be very important for both these teams to maintain control and discipline, because it's a very physical game, no question, and players are playing right to the whistle. So you have to be careful that you don't hit somebody late.
They originally had one of the officials a little further ahead with the ball. Now they move it back. 3rd down and 10 from the 30. Mitchell, nowhere to go. Ran right into the arms of Pharrell Hester, and then Tate came in to help put him down.
Well, you see Real, he scrambles out of the pocket, but he doesn't have a reason to scramble out of the pocket. You know, there was time to throw there. And I know that a lot of times you get in these games and you sort of feel that the pressure of the defense is going to come get you, but as a quarterback, you have to stay there. That time, Bishop Gorman very disciplined in the rush lanes. Real sort of bailed out and gave up on the play before he needed to, and they were there waiting for him.
Bishop Gorman has scored the last 14 points. Touchdown with less than 2 minutes to go at the end of the first half. And then the only point so far here in the 3rd quarter, and they're about to get the ball back. Flag comes out on the punt.
Oh, almost got that one blocked.
It is a good one. Fair catch made at the 32-yard line. We'll see what the penalty is.
Now, this is going to be a penalty. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage for St. John Bosco on this punt. It was a very good punt. If I'm Bishop Gorman, I take the penalty and make them re-kick.
Illegal formation on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, and we'll replay 4th down.
Yeah, see, that was a very good punt. I mean, it had height, it had distance, everything. You want to make him kick this again.
George Halani is the punter. He's a sophomore, also a running back. He plays a little bit of everything. Coach Negro said he's a big part of the future of the program, but at the present, he's got to redo that kick, and we've seen him have one come off the side of his foot and not go very far already tonight, so consistency hasn't been in his favor.
Watch Haskell Garrett. He's been getting some pressure on the punter.
Lower line drive punt and a return possibility here for Bishop Gorman. Pretty good coverage. And they'll limit Austin Arnold.
They probably gained about 15 yards in field position by making them re-kick.
Great quarterback matchup tonight. Let's go down to our quarterback on the sidelines, Chris Ricks.
Yeah, guys, for Real Mitchell, he's done most of his damage, as we've seen, running the ball. Not too efficient in the passing game. Missed that wide open hitch route a few drives ago to Berkeley-Holman, which would have extended that drive, maybe even gotten a touchdown. Hasn't been too sharp. On the other side, Tate Martell, as you've mentioned, JJ, it's just been improvising, keeping the plays alive, and then deadly accuracy. Right now, you've got to get the edge to Martell.
And his team has the edge as well. 21-20 in favor of Bishop Gorman. They go back to the ground game. The initial surge, taking the ball past midfield, and they'll stop it there.
I gotta tell you, if there's one thing that Tate Martell does well, and he does a lot of things well, when he runs the zone read, and I'm talking about even comparing him to college level quarterbacks, he does a great job in terms of holding that ball and holding that read to the very last minute. I mean, when you watch him, it becomes very difficult for the defender to guess right, because they'll leave a guy unblocked and they'll option off of the unblocked defender. He does a great job at the zone read, probably better than most guys do at the college level.
30 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. He keeps it, jumps over the line, and is very close to the 1st down. It'll depend on the spot, and they're saying move the chains.
See, the challenge when you face a zone read option quarterback is that the offensive line will change who they're going to leave unblocked. So of the 4 defensive linemen up front, one of them will be unblocked, and they'll zone read, what they call zone read off of it, which means Martell will read the unblocked defender. If he goes towards the running back, he'll keep it. And if he stays and waits for Martell to carry the football as a runner, then he hands it. So he makes the right decision. It's really a tough play to stop.
Bishop Gormon will have a first down when we start the 4th quarter. Our national championship game has lived up to the billing. Back for the 4th quarter in a moment. Outstanding plays by 2 of the best teams in the nation. Here is our Les Schwab 4th quarter game summary. Bishop Gormon, more yards, more penalties. That hurt them mostly in the first half, but they have been a bit more disciplined in that 3rd quarter and took the lead.
Yeah, Coach Sanchez talked about it at the half, that they need to address that problem, and they have fixed it. And on top of it, you can see how the offensive production has gone up as well, and thus they have the lead.
Les Schwab Tires game summary. Gives way to the 4th quarter. In the first play, they're going for everything. Bishop Gormon has got the big play. Dorian Thompson-Robinson over the top again for the touchdown.
Wow, what a way to start the 4th quarter. But how about the time that Martell has to throw? That made it even more difficult on the defensive back, because Martell has the arm, but you can see how far he was able to throw that football right on the money once again to Dorian Thompson-Robinson. What a big play.
PAT is perfect. 28-20. I know he's one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the junior class. He might have a future as a wide receiver.
Yeah, forget about the quarterback job. He definitely has a future at the wideout. But look at the time. Whenever you give a quarterback that kind of time with the talent that Martell has, it allowed Thompson-Robinson to get down the field and really stretch the defense. And of course, Tate was right on the money once again. He has been on target on that deep ball tonight. 2nd big touchdown grab for Thompson-Robinson. This time, 44 yards.
Bishop Gormon going over the top. Touchdown passes of 49 and 44 yards for Martell tonight to Thompson-Robinson. Just 8 seconds into this 4th quarter. Still, though, a 1-possession game. So Bishop Gormon, certainly with momentum on their side, they've scored 21 in a row, but St. John Bosco, a lot of time to work with.
Well, and remember, St. John Bosco, I mean, they're not trailing. They haven't trailed in a lot of games recently, but this is a team with resolve. They've been in these big games and understand the climate. The big question is, can Real Mitchell get this offense started again? You know, they've sort of gone away from Beasley here in the, really in the 2nd quarter and even in the 2nd half. They have not featured him as much as they did to start this game. I think that's where you have to start if you want to get this offense back rolling. Can't give him the football.
Some work to do here for St. John Bosco. And I'll say it again, we saw it in that Les Schwab Tires summary. The penalties, there were a lot of them for Bishop Gormon, but almost all of them came in the first half.
Right, then they've solved that penalty problem that they've had, and they've made the proper adjustments. Whatever they've done to make sure they keep Real under control, they've done that. Now it's St. John Bosco's turn to try to counter what they're getting from this Bishop Gormon defense.
On first down. It'll be an inside handoff and a minimal gain.
Well, they tried to go to Beasley there. No room to run. See Beasley now lining up as a wide receiver out wide. They go empty backs, five wide receivers, no backs in the backfield.
2nd down and 9. Pass is complete. Christian Gilbert. Not a whole lot of yardage, but maybe it'll get Real Mitchell in a little bit more of a rhythm.
Well, he's going to have to get in the groove here, in this 4th quarter. if Bosco's going to have a chance. Right now, Bishop Gormon fully committed to stopping the run and daring Real to beat him with the pass. It's man-to-man coverage across the board for Bishop Gormon, so there are a lot of opportunities out there, but he's going to have to make those plays with his arm from the pocket.
Lower to the side, Jonathan Bonds. And he is tackled just past the 25-yard line. Needed to get to the 30. It'll be 4th down.
Yeah, right now they're not taking any chances with Real throwing the ball down the field. The opportunities for him to complete passes are down the field, but they tried to receiver screen that time. Bonds, who has waited his turn to get that opportunity to play for St. John Bosco, has made the most of it. They said that he has really come on in terms of over the years, in terms of getting better and better, just kept improving every year, now getting his opportunity to see significant playing time for the Braves.
Polani to punt again.
Bonds very talented, another guy that you say, where did the scholarship offers come from? You know, he has all the tools, all the ability. Where the scholarship offers going to come from?
A low liner. It's going to take a Bosco bounce past midfield and rolls to the 46-yard line. That's where Bishop Gormon will get back to work with quarterback Tate Martell, who is heating up tonight.
Well, Tate Martell got off to a little bit of a slow start, but his offense got off to a slow start, but you can see that he was able to get them going, especially in the second quarter, and it mainly started with his legs. He was able to make plays on the ground, whether it be scrambling out of the pocket, but then he's had a couple shots down the field where he has been right on the money, as he's hit 2 big touchdown tosses to Thompson Robinson. That touchdown to Jordan was a huge one in the second quarter, but he has been right on the money. He has not missed an open receiver, especially when he goes down the field for the vertical passing game. That's really what has turned this game around.
First down handoff and solid game for the sophomore at Cianelli. You said it earlier, there's a lot of teams incorporating the spread offense. No huddle, lots of receivers. You look at Bishop Gormon and De La Salle. These legacy programs, they run the ball, and when you put too many in the box, they go over the top.
Yeah, and then it's a solid, you know, fundamental type of offense that they stick with year in and year out, and it becomes really tough to stop as long as you call the right plays in the right order and sort of understand what defenses are trying to do to you. This is a huge drive for the St. John Bosco defense, a huge 3rd down actually right here. They have to come up with the stop because another score really will put that offense under a lot of pressure, and they have not, Real has not been forced to have to throw from the pocket at big chunks. You know, you've seen a lot of bubble screens, a lot of underneath passing, but you have not seen him throw down the field a lot. If Bishop Gormon scores here, he'll be forced to do that.
3rd down and 2. And they go with that, call it an uppercase I. Tailbacks all lined up. And they hand it off, and waiting just long enough for a hole to open up is Cianelli.
It's going to be right at the 1st down marker. This is a very important spot.
They have signaled 1st down already.
Yep. Yeah, the nose of the football is across the 44-yard line, so that will be a 1st down. They needed to get just to the edge of that yard mark at that 44-yard mark, and so they were able to get across it, and that brings them a 1st down. Yeah, no need to measure.
1st and 10 from the 44.
Oh.
Both lines pointing at each other.
Definitely movement on the interior. They're going to get Bishop Gormon for it.
Dead ball, false start on the offense, number 73. That's a 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Adrian Dupuis flagged. Senior's been offered by BYU. First down and 15, just past midfield. Handed off to Arnold, and Arnold tripped up, takes it to the 41. More the ground and pound from Bishop Gormon. Coach Sanchez said, we're simple on offense. We want to be run dominant, we want to whoop you, and then we want to play defense.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that last play, very important for St. John Bosco. Etron Williams came up and made that tackle and might have saved a touchdown, because that was a shoestring tackle that he made, and it might have been the one thing that was going to stop, stop a long run, because otherwise there was nobody there if he had one more step.
And they got a false start on the receiver.
Dead ball, false start, offense number 14, 5-yard penalty, second down.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who's caught 2 big plays.
Well, it must have been a pass play. If a receiver leaves early, because trust me, they're in no hurry to block. Another penalty. I mean, trust me, Coach Sanchez, that will be the topic of discussion in the film room tomorrow about the penalties. Matter of fact, it won't be tomorrow, it'll be next week, because they stay the night here in Southern California and make the drive home tomorrow.
Second down and 12. Martell steps up in the pocket. He's got room to run on the left side. He'll have a first down, gets a block inside the 20, out of bounds at the 15.
The ability to escape. And there's not a lot of room to get out of that. And you see they actually had a guy spying on Martell, trying to prevent him from running, and even that didn't work. Just keeps making play after play.
2014 Nevada State Player of the Year. Last year he lost that title to running back Biagio Ali Walsh. He's in competition to get it back.
All right.
First down, and a tackle in the backfield. It was Cross Poyer.
And we haven't called his name a lot tonight. He's a very pivotal player in the middle of that defense for St. John Bosco. Very agile middle linebacker.
Clock ticking down, 6.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Bishop Gormon currently on a 21-0 run, going back to the waning minutes of the first half. Martell keeps it, pull on the left side, dives for the end zone, touchdown, Bishop Gormon. First rushing touchdown of the night for Martell. And Bishop Gormon has opened up a 2-possession lead.
I'll tell you, it is not because of the scheme of St. John Bosco. They have everybody up trying to stop this run. And you can see the zone read. He was able to have a seam in the middle and just weave his way between defenders. What an outstanding run by Martell. He's just a difference maker. There was just no defense. The defense was designed to stop him, and they still couldn't contain him. Wow.
Greg Biggins said the Bishop Gormon coaching staff best at making second half adjustments. They've made them. Tate Martell in a celebratory mood. His Gales lead by 15. Bishop Gormon has turned the tables on St. John Bosco in our Fort CIF Southern Section Game of the Week. The champs of the Silver State with a 7-play, 54-yard drive. Took almost 4 minutes, and it gives him a 15-point lead. Tate Martell getting into the end zone, and here he is on Flashback Friday.
Is he wearing 72? Come on. You can see Biagio Walsh. He was already headed for modeling. You can see it right there.
Haskell Garrett.
Boy,
Big smile, and Ohio State. It's your turn. Paula E.A. Nazi-Otse.
Oh, they got Bubba Bolden there. Real Mitchell, now see there, now he looks the same, right? He's got the number 11 on.
He even kept the same number. Terrell Bynum, the Washington commit, back when he was young. Or younger, I guess.
Yeah,
and Wyatt Davis.
Wyatt Davis, I mean, look at him. Now he's huge now. That must have been like when he was 2 years old, that picture.
Davey would be. The junior. And then, hey, head coach Jason Negro
look at that.
on a Flashback Friday. I think he and Bosco wishes they could flash back to earlier in this contest. They really had control, opened things up well offensively, establishing a 14-0 lead. But since then, Bishop Gormon has really been able to get going, especially in the second half. They came into it trailing by 6. They now lead by 15.
Yeah, it's really been, a tale of two different teams, two different games, actually. I mean, you walked into the first half, you thought that Bosco was going to run away with this, and it'd be an easy night for St. John Bosco. And then the #1 ranked team in the country, they have definitely made their move and made the adjustments, and it's paid off.
Berkeley Holman returns the kick to the 30-yard line, and 6:07 left for St. John Bosco to try and stage a comeback. Here's a look at how things have gone. Early on, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns for the Braves. Since then, 7 drives, and all of them have ended in kicks, 2 field goals, 5 punts.
Yeah, and it just hasn't been the same. You can see the numbers sort of reflect the same thing. I mean, you say St. John Bosco, 226 yards, probably about 180 of them, within the first, 2 or 3 drives. They, about 3 or 4 drives, I should say, that they had most of their yards, and since then, there's been nothing.
1st and 10. They'll try and get the passing game going. They hit Terrell Bynum. If they're going to make a comeback, he's got to be a featured receiver. They commit to Washington.
Yeah, a lot of receivers have not had opportunities tonight, mainly because of the short passing game. St. John Bosco has tried to attack, although they got a guy wide open.
And he overthrew Berkeley Holman.
Oh, he was wide open. They faked the bubble screen, and it's just a quick pump fake to the outside to fake the bubble screen. Everybody from Bishop Gorman bit. You see the 2 defenders, and I'm telling you, there's not a guy within 30 yards of Holman, and Real missed him.
Second down and 10. Mitchell over the top again, and that one hit his receiver in the arms, but he could not come up with it. Jovan Tucker, the intended receiver, broken up by Natiote.
Well, they had the matchup they wanted. They had Tucker against Natiote, and he had a step. You're gonna take a look. It's a seam route right down the middle. Now he has a step on him right there, but had to come back to the ball, and that's where Natiote was there to make the play. But Natiote was definitely a step or 2 behind the receiver. Was unable to hook up with him.
3rd down. Pressure coming. And this pass is too tall. Off the fingertips of Gilbert. 4th down. Flag is out on the play. It looks like they picked it up.
Yeah, I think they picked it up.
So 4th down and 10. And St. John Bosco is going to punt.
Yeah, and you can see that Bishop Gorman has Bosco where they want him now.
And Bishop Gorman doesn't buy it. They haven't put anyone back to return.
No, they're going to let this punt just roll. They don't want to make a mistake. They'd rather have possession.
Short kick, and this is going to take a Bosco roll once again towards the 20. And they'll pick it up at the 21-yard line. That's where Bishop Gorman will start. Their offense is yet to be stopped here in the second half. Their last 3 drives have all ended up in the end zone. They lead 35-20. Let's go down to Chris Ricks on the sideline.
Sam, JJ, are you guys as surprised as I am? Bosco punting the football with 5.5 left and down 2 scores.
Yeah, Chris, I don't think they have much time, time to waste. But the problem is they had 3rd or 4th and long, and Real just hasn't been on point. I agree with you 100%. You got to, at this point, you got to go for it. I think they're planning on hopefully getting a 3 and out, hoping to use timeouts to sort of preserve the time. But Bishop Gorman will be in no rush at this point.
Yep.
1st down, run right up the middle, and it's stuffed by St. John Bosco. So, I'm sure if you're asking Coach Negro, Chris, he's saying, if I have to pick between going for it on 4th and 10 or my defense to make 1 stop, I'll trust my defense. So far, so good.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a tall order, though, right? And Chris is exactly right. I mean, that's the thing, is that if they give up a first down here, it's almost over, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's.
And guys, I get that with what we've seen traditionally from Bosco, but the last 2 drives, the Gales have had at will, and expect them just to run the clock out now.
That's the problem, is that Bishop Gorman's offense has been really good.
Second down, and the tackle is made. Now it's Perry.
All right, so now here's the play that makes the difference on the decision that they made to go for it. They can stop him here on 3rd down.
And remember, they're down 2 scores, so using all your timeouts here, even if it gets you the ball back, you score once, you still have to go for the onside kick.
Yeah, a lot has to go right at this point if you're St. John Bosco, but we think crazier things happen. It is the high school game of the week, Sam. You see some of my moments. There's some surprises in there as well.
Bishop Gorman, 2 for 8. Hey, there's one of them. Ball's on the ground, picked up by Bosco. And they have the big play. First down and goal coming up for the Braves. Jaden Woodby picking up the loose ball and setting up Bosco inside the 10.
Well, there you go. St. John Bosco gets the turnover, one of the few times that the zone read had some miscommunication to it. And that time Martell was going to keep the ball himself, and the defender was Woodby that came in and slapped it away. Oh, no, maybe it's Collier. Right. Oh, no, it's just that he dropped the ball before on the handoff, on the exchange. There wasn't a clean handoff for it on the exchange. In any case, St. John Bosco has a great scoring opportunity here. Crazier things have happened.
3:55 left. It's first and goal. That's a high snap, and a smart move by Terrence Beasley, the senior running back, to just fall on the football, take the loss, and live to fight another down.
You're exactly right. It's a very heads-up play by Beasley, understanding the situation. And I'm still surprised why he has not touched the ball more in the second half. There's either something the Bosco coaches are seeing in terms of what Bishop Gorman has been taking away, but he has not been a factor in the second half, surprisingly, after being such a huge factor in the first half.
On second and goal, Mitchell to throw, looking end zone, overthrows it, and it's intercepted. Bishop Gorman's gonna try and run it back. At the 45-yard line, they finally bring down Bubba Bolden, and that could be the final nail in the coffin. St. John Bosco, a chance on the doorstep, and they give it right back to the Gales.
Well, they got sort of caught in a pinch after that fumble that you had a negative play, made it a long yardage situation, and they had to try to go down the field to make a throw. And Real threw this one right into coverage. You can see he's trying to go to the tight end down the middle, but he's well covered, and there's also a safety sitting right on top. Just no place to go with the football there.
Bolden's second interception of the season. Senior, once committed to USC, he decommitted.
Yeah,
you see the rankings, number 4 safety in the nation.
Yeah, 4-year starter.
So now the Bosco defense has to try for another stop, maybe another takeaway. First down, they get the stop. But the clock continues to roll down towards 3 minutes.
And how about the defense for Bishop Gorman? I mean, they have really turned things around after looking like there was no way. They looked like Swiss cheese to start this game. They were going right through them with all the long runs and everything, and momentum clearly on the St. John Bosco side. And you know, ever since the second half started, they've really dialed in the defense and, you know, forced Bosco to have to throw the ball down the field. And St. John Bosco could never get in a passing rhythm, and that cost them.
Whistles blow the play dead. And this is going to be delay of game, I believe, or a false start. 2 officials making different signals, both mean the same thing.
Dead ball, false start. Number 77, offense. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Just over 2.5 minutes to play in this one. Head coach Kenny Sanchez for Bishop Gorman told us before we asked him, you know, he had followed his brother Tony everywhere he went, from high school in California to Bishop Gorman. Tony got the job at UNLV, and we asked him, why was this the time to be a head coach? He said, I wanted to test myself. I wanted to know, can I do it? Because I know I can be a BV coach at the next level. I didn't know if I could be a head coach. He's about to be 18-0.
Well, and that's the mentality of, the Sanchez's, both of them, really, in terms of how they built this program. They built it to be a first-class program, but they've also not sat in Las Vegas and just beat up on the teams in Las Vegas. They've gone and been able to take on all challengers across the nation. They always want to play the best. And this is a great example of what happens when you play the best and why you play this game. It's been a great game tonight. You can see the Gales, 41 consecutive wins going back to October 4, 2013. This will be number 42. It's just awesome to see. I just love that competitive spirit that they not only brought to Bishop Gorman, but also to their players.
Big play here, and they pick up a first down. Cianelli's got even more. Keeps bouncing back and forth, and it'll get inside the 30 from 3rd and 11. They pick up the first down on a 28-yard run by Ahmad Cianelli. What a job that sophomore's done filling in for Biagio Ollie Walsh.
Yeah, no kidding. We have a stable of backs here between Cianelli, Ollie Walsh. And we've also seen Arnold back there as well. It's a good team. It's a really good team.
Maybe the best in the country. Under 90 seconds left, first down, it's Martell. He'll just jump into the pile. In addition to that 40-plus game overall win streak, Bishop Gorman, if they finish this off tonight, will have 12 straight wins over California teams. They haven't lost to a team from California since 2010. Wow. Want to guess who it was?
Please tell me Bishop, I'm lying.
Sorry, De La Salle. Cianelli over the century mark tonight with that big run on 3rd and 11. And we're in the final moments, coming up on 30 seconds left. Cianelli stopped at the 25. Bosco has timeouts if they want to use them, but Coach Negro, I think, sees that tonight Bishop Gorman, especially in the second half, is too strong.
Yeah, that's a huge win for Bishop Gorman. Under the circumstances where Ollie Walsh goes out of the game as early as he did, Tate Martell had to put this team on his shoulders. He was definitely up for that task. And he got some big plays. I mean, the guys on the outside, whether it be Thompson, Robinson, or Arnold, guys made big plays for them in the passing game, and that was the difference in the game. Tate Martell got hot and was able to, when he had open receivers, able to hit them, and that was the difference.
Two head coaches, good friends, Jason Negro and Kenny Sanchez, shaking hands. Bishop Gorman winning in large part thanks to their quarterback, Tate Martell.
Well, early in the game, he got it started with the running. He used his legs, his athleticism to get outside the pocket, make some things happen. This is the first of the big throws down the field as he hit Thompson Robinson right in stride for that touchdown. And then every time St. John Bosco wanted to try to put pressure on Martell, it seemed like he found some window of opportunity to escape through. But when he had time to throw, he was on point. That touchdown to Jordan. He goes back to Thompson Robinson again.
And then the last one does it on his own.
Does it on his own with the zone read, which they used a lot of tonight. Tate Martell did everything for his team, really put the team on his back after the injury to Ollie Walsh, understanding that they needed some production in the run game. He, along with Cianelli, provided that, and it really was a great overall team victory for Bishop Gorman.
So Bishop Gorman crosses state lines again and beats the #1 ranked team in the southern section. Tate Martell, 7 for 15. Accuracy was a little lacking early, but really late. He was on the money, especially on the deep ball. He leads his team to victory. He, as a quarterback, has never lost.
Yeah, it's really incredible. He's been part of this 42-game win streak and a pivotal part of this 42-game win streak.
He's down on the field with Chris Ricks.
Hey guys, here with the winning quarterback, Tate Martell. Tate, you take down the mighty St. John Bosco Braves again. How do you feel?
I feel great. You know, we struggled a little bit in the first half, but I mean, it just goes to show how much work we put in during the summer. Nobody can compete with us. We're going to be back at practice on Monday doing the same thing we always do. That's the thing that never changed with us. Big wins are not like that. We expect that. So we go back to work and work as hard every single week. So next week we got Kahuku and nothing's going to change for us.
What does this say again about your coaching staff, the work ethic of your teammates, your off-season work with quarterback coach Steve Clarkson? What does this say about the character and the resiliency of your team, even when you were down early?
Yeah, no doubt. We were down 14-0, and everybody was. We knew that we could. We weren't playing good, so we knew that we could go out there and win this game. And obviously, well, I guess the scoreboard's not up anymore, but you know we got it done.
Well, you're a superhero. You didn't have your Robin with you today in the backfield, your running back. What does that say about you leading this team, even without your star running back behind you?
I mean, I don't like to take any credit. My line did great. My running backs did great, came in. You know, obviously, I got to go out there and manage the game, but my players can make plays whoever's doing it.
Well, Tate, great game. Congratulations. Go enjoy it. Guys.
Thank you, Chris. Tate Martell leading the way. Throws for 3 touchdowns, runs for another. And in the end, Bishop Gorman shows why they were the #1 ranked team in the nation. They win 35-20. Our post-game show coming up next here on Fox Sports Prime Ticket.